He gave Brandon crabs.
What I have done cannot be undone.
Well, listen here.
Cody, take your pants off.
Hey, what the
You're not getting these back. Do not say or harass anyone.
You do what you like.
Has his mic been off the whole time?
Brandon Herrera and I approve this message.
My boy.
Oh, this episode's gonna be one of those.
Why can I already tell this episode's gonna be spicy?
Because we're drinking. No. Cody's pulling a hand from the handle. I don't know how it's.
I'm burned out right now. Just drinking vodka.
Yeah.
Cody, kick us off. Wait, hold on, whoa.
Everyone grab one to pop it. Here, you can just pop it.
I'll just pop it and then I'll
you
pass it
don't
off.
have to
Yeah, cool,
Christian
cool.
boy persona's already
Christian
kicked
boy.
in.
Yeah, my fingers are burning.
2, 3.
Woo! Oh yeah, we'll do actual.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Unsubscribed podcast. We're joined today by Eli Double Fat, Brandon Herrera, Mr. Fat Electrician, and the best fucking person ever. Sorry, I said the F word. Mr. Wendigoon.
We still cuss when he's around. He just doesn't have
Depends on which F word you said.
I know. You apologize for the first time. You're like, I'm so sorry. That's how much we respect you. Cody, Donut is like, I am so sorry.
That's weird because of all the racial slurs we said earlier.
That you all said.
That's not how I remember it, extremist.
No. Oh, no. Thank you. 30 seconds in already.
And now you're canceled. So what side of the table
That's right,
are you leaning
motherfucker. I'm
on?
running for Congress.
We're in this together. Don't worry.
God, you are like
We both go down with this ship.
He's that perfect half right now. It's like the brown side, the white side, and you're like right in the middle right there.
Oh, wow.
We're like a fucking podcast equivalent of a paint swatch.
Racist? Oh, they're fine over there. We can say whatever. We get the pass.
The cop meme. Should I pull my gun?
Oh man, this
Death sentence to misdemeanor.
Hi everybody. Hello. Thank you boys so much for having me on. Last time on was fantastic, and everyone here is. Was that a high five? There we go.
I seen with the hand. I was like, oh god.
Everyone here is a friend of mine, so it's great to just sit down with the boys. I appreciate it.
Dude, no,
thank you all
you've
very
been
much.
crushing life. You have started how many podcasts now? Like you have a few going, which is ridiculous.
I got 2 that I started. I started one with Hunter, also friend of the channel, Meat Canyon. Very cool. Creepcast going great. And I've got another one I started with Jackson Clark and Charlie, Moist Critikal, Penguins, whatever you want to call them. And that one's also going great. Yeah, small. You probably haven't heard of them before. Yeah, I'm really trying to help them out, boost up their channel.
Small.
Yeah.
Dude, your podcasts are starting at like the pinnacle. You're like, oh, you only have like 10 mil. You want to get something started, maybe?
Yeah, well, I shot Charlie DM and I was like, I'll help you out. We'll get somewhere together. But no,
good to try to like kick this off at 300,000 views on our first episode.
Yeah, but very blessed to be where I am. And I really do appreciate both of those guys because before I started YouTube, they were both like guys I looked up to, along with the people at this table. They were both like people who I like aspired to be like, and now to be at the point where they're like, "Hey, we should do a show together." It's really cool to see. It's awesome.
You were looking.
I was gonna make that joke right off the bat. I'm like,
I was thinking to myself, how long until you bring it up? But go for it. Go ahead.
Sure. Well, the last video at time of recording that you put up, your second Cryptid tier list. Mm-hmm. You had said something in the beginning. You were actually kind of mansplaining to your audience as far
how
as
a tier list works.
Yeah, tier list. You're like, hey, look, B tier means it's above C. C is average. B means I kind of like it. And like, I'm watching this in the shower in the morning to get ready, and I'm like, tear running down my cheek. I'm like, B tier means he likes me.
Kinda.
But on that same note,
not as much as Mike Jones.
On my live stream the other day, when I was ranking all my own videos, the video I put of just me reacting to you from early on in the channel, I put it at F. I put it at F tier.
And then what was the thumbnail though for it?
It was me. It was like my head photoshopped onto your body. It's so weird.
I think it was your head photoshopped onto my thumbnail.
Yeah. It was, yeah. I stole your whole flow, the whole thing.
You just dragged it down there. You're like,
wait a minute.
That looks good. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Metal Gear Solid shithead fucking.
It's really funny because I made that video when I had maybe 80, 100 subscribers, something like that. Because in my head, it's like, yeah, I'm just a guy, and these are like the untouchable, like, you know, the famous YouTubers. And it's really weird to be like, what's my reasoning for this? Like, I have to explain myself.
And I watched it when it came out because you had tagged me in it.
Do you? I don't think I've ever asked you about this, but it's good material for a podcast, I suppose. Do you remember just around that same time, you got brigaded with like crab memes for a while? Crab emojis, I mean, in like your comment section. Do you remember this at all?
Was this over the crab god thing or?
This was around, okay, you remember that old meme of like the dancing crab? Like whenever someone would die.
That's not an old meme, that's very relevant.
Okay, yeah. It was like dancing crabs or whatever.
The crab rave.
Yeah. The crab rave, yeah. So whenever
He gave Brandon crabs.
that's what I'm trying to get at.
This is now lore.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So the crab rave thing, whenever someone dies, everyone comments like crab emojis when they're excited for it or whatever.
Recently, Henry Kissinger, I think, was the...
So there was a guy, this was back when I had the Wendigoon Instagram page, where I was just like, I would just post short stories, stuff like that, right? So I was posting short stories, and for each one of them, I was using like copyrighted music to like make it look cool. Because at the time, I was just doing it for fun. I didn't care what happened. Eventually, I did it enough, my Instagram account got taken down. It got taken down like the day after I made the reaction to your thing, right? So for a few hours,
people assumed that
that you took down my Instagram page.
I remember this now.
Yes.
And I talked to you about it.
And you talked to me about, I had never spoken to him before.
You just reached out, you're like, bro, that was not me. I swear to God.
Dude, oh my God, you just unlocked a memory. I did
Yep.
not associate that was you. And I was just like, hey bro, I just want to let you know I had nothing to do with that. Like I seriously like that.
I didn't
wasn't
take
me.
down your Instagram page because you made a video making fun of me. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So
Yeah.
that's what you messaged me.
Not.
There was a guy who followed me who just
wish
was.
you were that petty though.
He was posting like crazy, like Brandon Herrera is trying to take down Wendigoon, which is really funny in hindsight. And then I DM him, I'm like, bro, that's not what happened. And all he sent back was a message that said, what I have done cannot be undone.
Dude, I was wondering. So you were unlocking shit in my brain. I fucking had thrown out a long time ago. I was on a road trip when that happened.
Yep, you texted me. You're like, hey, sorry, I'm on a road trip right now. I don't know who you are. I did not delete your Instagram.
Because
That's as Brandon as it gets. I don't know you, but I didn't do it.
well, within context, you probably had maybe a few hundred, maybe like 1,000 or something like that.
It was,
But I was just like reaching out. I'm like, hey, dude, I'm just letting you know, like, that was not me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I had nothing to do with this, whatever. I did not put two and two together. That was now
me.
the only YouTuber I watch when I'm eating food alone.
So depressing when you say that.
Jesus Christ.
And it's really funny because at the time when you did that in my head, I'm like, hi, Brandon.
You're like, play it cool, just leave him on red.
He deleted my
2 hours
page, that's
later,
fine.
thanks, bro. He'll like that.
Damn, I gotta make him think I'm busy. I'm gonna wait 30 seconds.
Sorry, swamped with work.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, dude. That's
Yeah. But now we're here.
Now
here we are.
Yeah.
We're all the worse for it.
Yeah, exactly.
So what podcast are you most excited for? Dude, listening to you, and I'm super excited for Papa Meat and your shit. Like that first video coming out the gate, just swinging.
Thank you.
That is
Appreciate
an
it.
internet classic with the stairs.
Yes. Yeah.
And if you haven't read it, like, have you any of you read that creepypasta?
I didn't read it, but I watched the podcast.
I can't read.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Okay.
Which one?
Yeah, I knew that.
The Stairs
Okay.
Out.
We're here.
I haven't seen the Stairs in the Woods one.
You gotta watch this thing, man. It's actually pretty good.
Okay.
Are you familiar with like the concept of the Stairs in the Woods, like the horror stories around it?
Not really. I've seen it in passing. I'm not familiar with the lore though.
Creepy as fuck. You're gonna do a way better job. It is because when you read it, especially at that time, No Sleep was that weird in between. Now
Yes,
No Sleep is
yeah.
just fake shit.
It's mainstream. Yeah.
R//No Sleep, the Reddit.
Yeah. The subreddit.
At that time, 2010, 2011, 2012, that shit was like, you're like, this is a real story. And they base it off, it feels like a very authentic story of how it's told. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Well, one of the rules of No Sleep is that whatever format the writer chooses, it has to make sense why the story ended up on the subreddit. So most of them, they'll have someone at the beginning like, hey, I'm coming to the subreddit to post a weird thing that happened to me, and they launch into it. It's also the reason a lot of them end really poorly, where they're like, if anyone finds this message, please upload it to r/nosleep, and it doesn't make any sense.
Terrible.
But some of the good ones can incorporate as like someone who's trying to figure out what's going on, asking for help, etc. So basically, the concept of the stairs in the woods, it comes from, I believe the username on Reddit is user/search and rescue woods, who I've since spoken to. She's a very cool author, very cool person. But basically, the concept behind the stairs in the woods is if you spend a lot of time around like the lore, the horror stories of the forest. Like I'm from Appalachia, so that's what I'm familiar with. But it applies to the Rocky Mountains, where have you. There's people who have lived in there for a long time who, even if they don't expressly believe in the supernatural or things that go bump in the night, there's typically some level of the unexplained that they've come across, right? Ask anyone who's, grown up in the mountains, and they have some story of a noise that didn't sound quite right, something they ran into.
Speaking of noises, real quick, can I swap out your chair with one of these? It's not squeaking.
It was doing the same thing to me.
I thought it was kind of cute.
I was like, I'm fucking gonna kill both of them.
We'll do the
While
switch out.
while we're doing a brief intermission on
thank
that,
you.
it reminds me of an SF guy that I knew growing up that like
Thank you.
He used to do all sorts of like night vision, thermal shit, like in Appalachia, like just in the mountains of North Carolina. And we said like, hey,
As always.
That's beautiful.
do you like, hey, we're thinking about getting some night vision. Like we just want to see what's in the woods up in the mountains, up by the Smokies. And he's just like, no, you don't. And then he walked away. What the fuck does that mean? Would you like to explain? No. Okay.
There's weird stuff. Everyone's got stories. Everyone's got just like things that happen to them. The ones that I remember as a kid, and one of the reasons the stairs in the woods resonate so much with me, is kind of like structures you come across that don't make sense. Like, for example, a lot of the area in Appalachia has got like... Thank you, Eli.
What the fuck are they?
Who would have thought? Yeah.
I spy something green.
A lot of the regions in Appalachia, like there were old homestead. Go ahead. No, no, I'm kidding. I'm just playing. Like old homesteader settlements and stuff like that. So like it was houses made out of wood, but they had like a rock chimney. So the evidence of the house will be completely gone. You're walking through the woods and there's just a giant chimney in the middle of the forest.
Yeah.
Stuff like that will happen. I remember coming across a door at a park when I was a kid, just a door set up in the middle of the woods, just no other evidence of a structure around it. Just weird stuff like that.
It's the old country
on
towns.
hinges and everything?
Yeah, like it was on a frame, just setting up. I distinctly remember like the deteriorated, but you could tell it used to be like a gold knob on it, just middle of the
I
woods.
grew up in
Monsters, Inc.
Fayetteville, North Carolina. So
Thank you.
Oh, that's Monsters, Inc. I have a
Mike
2-year-old
Wazowski's
who loves
no. Yeah, I grew up in Fayetteville, North Carolina. That was just like evidence of a crack house that burned down.
That too.
was-
Yeah.
Well, it is creepy when you're in like Indiana's a good example out in the cornfields, but when you drive way out there with like the Amish and stuff, you will find just straight up old abandoned like chimneys at that point because there was like 100, 200 years old. So you're like, what the fuck is this doing out in the middle of the woods?
So it was just the strongest structure to survive.
Pretty
throughout
much.
the years.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So they had like good
And then you
builders out there.
just say
I guess.
ghost. And
They had some
then it's
Herreras
hot.
out there building those things.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, the brick is done. Oh, okay. And then it's over. It's like,
They had the white people build the parts that didn't last.
He's got you there. But like in the stairs of the woods, the whole story around it, the title's I'm a search and rescue officer, and just describing weird stuff they've come across. And a lot of them are like not related to the stairs in the woods, but the takeaway everyone remembers from that story is the writer mentioned sometimes you'll be out in the woods, like when you're far off from the trails, like 10, 15 miles out, you'll just come across a set of stairs in the woods. Sometimes they're small stone. Sometimes they look like they belong in a house. There's stories of opulent ones you'll find out there. They don't make any sense, but everyone knows to stay away. And that's one of the main premises that lays the groundwork for the story. So everyone, and I think one of the reasons the story was so successful is because people saw that, and a lot of people like me were like, that's weirdly familiar. That's like nostalgic almost. I remember something kind of similar to that. So the story has a lot of other elements, a lot of other horror elements, but the stairs in the woods is the part that most people remember from it.
I'm not a huge fan of the other horror elements they built into it, but like the stairs in the woods, just as a theme, was weirdly familiar because I think it's something that's just like it's so specific that everybody just kind of remembers. Even if you don't remember specifically, you know that you like. Okay, I feel like I've seen that somewhere.
Yeah, you can almost picture it like it's a memory of sorts. Like that's happened.
What's that called? It's almost like the uncanny valley, but for stairs.
Yeah. It's like there's something in your mind that's like, I know that it's not right, but it's still there. It's even if it's not supposed to make sense, it's there.
And the first couple of chapters, what's really cool is there wasn't much paranormal activity attached to it. It's just like, don't walk up the fucking stairs. We don't know what happens. Hey, just stairs, stay away from it. And that's how they just build the entire story. And it's a few chapters before it gets like to that.
You watched it recently too, huh?
No, this is based off of when I read it.
Really?
I haven't
You
watched
haven't
the
seen this
video.
thing? Oh, no shit.
I
Okay.
read it back in the day, like Ted the Caver.
So I just want to point this out. You're all fake fans.
He's a real fan right here.
There's a reason he's sitting next to me. Sorry, Cody.
B tier.
It's my boy.
B tier got your back.
I think the last 3 podcasts we've done, we bragged about Wendigoon.
Oh,
Yeah.
Just
that's
talking
so
about how
sweet.
good you're doing.
Aw.
It's like,
Oh, y'all
there's
are-
a 5-minute segment there where we're like, our friends are doing so good right now. We're so happy
I'm
about
sorry. I want my son to succeed.
Your son's doing so, you must be a proud father, Brandon.
you know what, Dad?
I just like you call him dad,
You know
please.
what? B plus.
Oh, they say his heart grew 3 sizes that day.
Your own son was like, you get a plus.
I thought I was going to go to A tier.
We'll talk about it.
We'll negotiate. Hey, fuck you, man.
He doesn't slide you on the scale at all. He's just like, yeah, you're still there.
Yeah.
You're above
You
all-
could imagine him being higher, but he's not.
You're above all the other guys in B tier, but like you're not in A tier.
He just slides your picture over.
Dude, I had after the podcast you guys did last time, I had so many people in my comments for like a fucking month afterward. B tier Brandon. I'm like, dude, fuck you, dude. I don't...
Someone saw a picture of me and then he made a comment like, "Oh, is B tier there?"
Yeah, no, he didn't help put it on or anything. He was just there.
He was present, I guess. I think I saw him. Yeah. No, but for real, guys, I really appreciate the praise. It's none of my doing. I'm very blessed to be where I am. Couldn't have done it myself, but it means a lot from friends. Thank
Well,
you.
you're a dirty fucking liar.
Yeah, exactly.
What
Thanks.
Jesus?
That's all. That's also how I respond to my friends.
To say that it's none of your doing.
again.
Yeah, damn. You're fucking welcome for everything, son.
Well, no, for you to say it's
He
none of
hits him. I'm like, whoa, Brandon.
Well, listen here, fucker. To say it's none of your doing is a dirty fucking lie. Because you are one of the best storytellers that I have
Hands
ever
down.
known. Like,
I appreciate that. That means a lot. I like them. I like them. I just like to tell them. But you had asked like about the 2 podcasts. That's Creepcast going well. For future episodes, we're planning to cover a lot more like horror stories, old creepypasta related stuff.
What's the next one, real quick, just to hint at it?
And what's the next one going to be about? Well, we talk.
Goatman? Or
We're
the story?
discussing. We're recording it Monday. Me and him have been texting about which one. We've got like 5 lined up. It's just order. At some point, I want to cover some of the classics that are bad looking back. One's like Jeff the Killer, right? That as a kid,
So
I'm like,
bad.
this is the scariest story I've ever read. I'm like, I haven't looked at it in 10 years. What if we read it like live to each other? Like, how would that go? So stuff like that, yeah.
So Ted's an asshole. You guys have.
that was fucking hilarious, dude. Have you guys listened to the Ted the Caver?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
He's just like a bro, not warning anyone about anything that's happening.
Wow, saw a demon goat child in there. That was weird. Better not tell my friends.
Come on, Dad. You want to go in first?
Quick, throw the dog.
Throw in B or whatever the
Whip.
Yeah, whip will go explore.
Whip in there.
Man, the dog came back traumatized. Better go deeper.
And then the other show we're doing, the Red Thread, is like looking at stuff like conspiracy theories, cults, true crime, stuff like that. The way that in my mind they're differentiated is like, so with the Red Thread, the idea of it red thread on like a conspiracy pin board, like, you know, tracing the lines from different stuff, making connections. It's kind of like taking these big cases or stories, piecing them together, see what fits, what theories are. And the thing that I'm trying to do with Hunter over on Creepcast is more so like narratives, like stories, stuff that inspires. Because like the thing that I've always respected a ton about Meat Canyon is he makes like goofy videos, right? Like the premise is a joke or whatever. But then you're 2 minutes in and you're like, this is a scary, like well-written horror story. Like he did one about, I forget what the setup was, but the monster was Bob the Builder. That was the Japanese thing in the forest. And at first you're like, haha, Bob the Builder. But then it's like, the reason I've killed your wife is because you didn't respect the house you had. And it ends with him like, every day I break my house board by board, waiting for it to return. I'm like, that was an impactful horror story about a Bob the Builder snake. Like, it's so weird. It's
terrifying too.
Yeah, and he's such a great writer that I want to like talk about stories with him and like do that. So that's kind of like, in my head, that's what differentiates. Some people are like, couldn't you technically cover one concept on the other to the other? And that's true. But for me, it's like the puzzle or the narrative. Those are the two, like my two interests. So,
and you bounce off of each other because as you're saying, Hunter is really good. In a 5-minute window, he can tell a 3-story arc, and it's fucking insane to be able to do that as well and captivate the audience and then terrify them. Because at the same time, you're like, what the fuck? It is creepy, it's terrifying, and it's done in a 5-minute segment with Bob the Builder. And then you're that narrative piece you're watching, and then you break it down like your Blood Meridian story. And it's really cool to see your dynamics. I always said you're both ends of the spectrum when it comes to that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's also interesting to see you bounce off of each other because, like, legitimately, you are two of my new, like, favorite creators.
Oh.
And, like, to see you bounce off of each other and bring up unique perspectives that I haven't seen before, or maybe the other haven't, thought about entirely. Like, Hunter redefining that story of you hunting for that body as, as a kid in the most recent one.
Every comment, I just like open YouTube for a second and everyone's like, hey, you doing okay, buddy? You're going to find that body. Don't worry. Like people are. Do you all know about that story? You didn't watch the episode, so you don't know about that story.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you're surrounded by fake fans. We've addressed this.
No, please. Fuck you.
There wasn't a fight to see who wasn't going to be on this episode. No, that actually happened.
No, we
Okay,
literally
guys,
did.
who's going to sit this one out? All 4 of us staring at each other like...
We were all like, kind of like hand on carry gun. Like, are we gonna like? All right, we're all gonna be on it.
I want to be with Wendigo. No, I want to be on Wendigo.
That was actually like insanely encouraging to me. Whenever, because like I said, you all are guys I look up to, respect, and then
why?
It was shut up. It was Eli or Brandon one texted me and was like, "No one's backing out, so we're all gonna be there." I'm like, "Oh, my heart!" Like that's so sweet. I appreciate it. So yeah, the dead body.
Meanwhile, the Ballistic High Speed guys back here only got 2 hosts. Like,
Sorry.
Oh, that's not man, at least they brought in everyone else from there.
like, hey, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Hey, I would have been here. I don't know what their problem is. So.
Shout out to Ballistic High Speeds. They're great dudes.
Dude, I couldn't wait to not talk on their podcast.
Dude, your presence of not talking on other people's podcasts is so nice.
You sum up everything Cody said. It's one podcast. It's fucking great.
Every time we have a podcast without Cody on it, and so Cody, and just cut to blank screen. Okay, yeah, cool. All right, anyway,
donut here, and it goes back to everything.
I'm not voting for you so hard.
Understandable. Have a nice day.
Way more sense. Oh my god. But going on to your other one, first off, it is Hunter and you. It's the opposite ends of the spectrum, which is great because you're like G Willikers, and Hunter is the exact opposite of G Willikers.
You have a Sunday school teacher versus I have a sponsorship with Bad Dragon Dildos.
Two ends of the spectrum, right?
Yeah. I did think about that. Like when we started, I'm like, these are going to be some funny sponsor conversations.
Bad Dragon, how do you feel?
Yeah,
about that?
how do you feel about you think kids in the class? What's your age group? Like
Have
12,
you
14?
seen the
They're cool. Is
Wendigoon
what they know.
Fister? It's great.
Like, we can't do that.
Speaking of which, it's time to roll into Adam and Eve.
Oh my God, do you want the best sleep in the world, you know? Well, I can tell you the greatest bed and mattress product in the world. It is from GHOSTBED.com, you know? Today we are talking to myself and Mexican version of myself to talk about the great deals at GHOSTBED.com. Every mattress has 20-year warranty. You can try out for 101 night. If you don't like it, send it back. No hard feeling. And one of the best parts of the GHOSTBED is the cooling technology, senor. I know what you're thinking. ¿Por qué? Sí. Because if you're like me and you're in Texas, the nights are hot and you need the cooling technology. See, GHOSTBED also offers all the bundles. See, you don't even really have to think about it, senor. Just choose from 4 of their mattresses and you got a bundle, senor. So whether you need the mattress or the frame, or you want it all, like the cooling pillows or the sheets, you can get the best bang for your buck. That's right. Right now, if you use unsubscribe at ghostbed.com/unsubscribe, you get 50% off everything. Everyone loves discount to that value. So very big. That is half. Go buy the best bed you can with ghostbed.com.
Actually, on a serious note, all of us use GhostBed now. It is all the rooms here at Unsub, my bedroom, the pillows, the sheets, everything is GhostBed. You spend 30% of your life in a bed. Upgrade your stuff and save 50% while doing it. Go check them out. They're a fantastic company. And we support them. Code unsubscribe. Go 50%. Is that one on this one? Oh, maybe.
I don't know.
Hopefully that wasn't that. I just hope it's just unnatural for 2 minutes. We're like, yes. Just show his face for 2 minutes straight. I'll put my mouth talking over his. When I think Adam and Eve, I think Wendigoon.
My new collaboration, holy water-based lubricant.
He just gets up and leaves. He's like, no.
I'm not Catholic, so that one's fine. That's true.
God damn, how much can you fit in a Ted's cave?
The power of Christ will compel you.
You want to fill Ted's cave? Well, here's the thing to do that. It's like, God damn it.
So, does anybody want to go to church tomorrow?
Sunday, we're going to call it the Spelunker.
He's never coming back. He's like, I hate all of you as much as one can hate.
Get him the squeaky chair. Bring it back. Love you guys. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Subscribers going down.
But
The moist critical. There we go.
yeah. No, I have a great time with those guys. Like Charlie gets like flack sometimes because people are like, oh, he's not opinionated. He doesn't like talk so much. It's because Charlie's just like the most like happy. Just he's like, yeah, I'm good. Life's good. I don't have a lot of problems with anyone. Just nice guy. And talking to him, he's like super legitimate, kind person. Like been very cool to know him as well. I will say, I'll tell him a little bit. In the last podcast we did, we covered a unsolved. Can I say the word for offing yourself? Wait, you guys have swore like 800 times. Suicide. Yeah.
Sewer slide.
Sewer slide. Yeah. It was an official sewer slide that has connections to like money
Stop
laundering.
using these fake words or I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah, so it's about an official suicide from the 70s that was connected to like money laundering rings and all this stuff. And as we get into the podcast, we're like, no one was ever convicted, but there are some people who might be implicated, some business families, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm not going to say it because like that's still a successful family and I'm not going to mention it. And then Charlie's like, no, I'm good too. And then it goes quiet for a bit. And Jackson's like, I live in New Zealand. The two families are the and he just says them. And like we laughed and made jokes. After the recording over, Charlie was like, we were talking afterwards, like, so are you guys worried about implicating their names? I'm not. But if you guys are, I'd understand that. Do we want to cut it? Let's cut it. Let's cut the names out of the episode. Like,
Totally not worried, but 100% can cut these. We're cutting these.
To be fair, you could probably Google that given the information.
sure, yeah. It's like public records and all stuff. I just don't want to get sued. Is the only thing. Yeah. That's my one hang up with it. Which I've made some videos before where I'm like, I'll hit post, but we'll see.
My
That
favorite thing
typically
about
works out.
Charlie,
Icebergs
like,
might
Yeah.
hate you.
Yeah. The iceberg community, they really hate me. Yeah.
I like Charlie a lot. He's a really chill dude. Like
Yeah.
we've hung out with him in person. Like he's cool as fuck. My favorite thing about him though is that he makes me look tall, which is very rare.
Yeah.
He's looking jacked though.
Yeah.
He's looking jacked.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know that?
Charlie's
No,
been fucking.
he's pretty ripped.
He's been like hitting the
pumping
gym.
iron.
He
Dude.
always has, I thought.
I don't know. But
I'm pretty sure
recently
he has
looks
a-
like Cody right now.
I'm pretty sure he has
Just
a-
short.
Like,
There's Cody right now. Everyone at the thing, they're like,
Well, he
Yo,
wears
Cody's
such-
so jacked right now. I was like, he stopped drinking for 30 days.
he wears such loose clothing. I didn't know. Like, is that an actual thing? Like,
no, yeah,
like
he's
Charlie
jacked.
got
I
jacked.
think he went to college for like physical training or something
No
like that.
shit.
Yeah, no, he's pretty ripped.
He's
That's-
pretty hot.
Yeah, he's hot. He's
Love you,
hot.
bro.
Unironically, like that's cool. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Jesus Christ. Oh, okay, so speaking of being sued, if we can talk about it a little bit, the Blood Meridian thing, like you didn't get sued over that, right?
The Blood Meridian thing?
Yeah,
I
because
got sued over Blood Meridian?
No. It's
They
like,
took the
you didn't get sued, right? But like, didn't they try to take the video down? Like the family of the dude,
Cormac McCarthy?
Yeah, Cormac McCarthy. Wasn't there like some problems with that going on?
They didn't try to take the video down, to my knowledge. I did. So after that video came out, McCarthy, I think you might be thinking of another video.
No, I think I thought they took it down for like a day or two.
I don't think the family did, unless
Not
I'm
the family.
seriously
Or the
misremembering. But
publication or something?
Yeah, the publication tried to.
What
they
drama
took
did
down.
you have with the book that took
it
something
was
down?
there wasn't any.
We'll reverse this because you guys were like, but didn't they? I think he would know first and foremost.
Are we having
They
a fucking
can
like?
gaslight me into it. I think
Yeah,
it'll
they're
work. Yeah.
gaslighting.
Is
By
this
the
a
end of it,
fucking?
I'm going to be like, I'm going to court. I'm taking it.
Yeah, you're in court. It's like I'm supposed to be here. I don't know. Brandon and Cody said I was supposed to be here.
Is this like a Chick-fil-A Mandela effect? Because like I remember, like they took your video down for like a day or two.
Maybe YouTube did for the content because I was
Yeah.
talking about like
Graping.
graping like murdered people and stuff because that's one of the stuff in the book. Maybe it went down a couple. I think that's what happened. It got like age restricted by YouTube for like a couple days, and then I argued that it was cool, and then they put it back.
That's awful phrasing. I argued that graping was cool, and then they agreed.
And they put it back. I remember I said in the thing, I'm like, this is literally just a historical thing. It's educational, blah, blah. And they put it back up. I think that's what it was. It did have an effect on the McCarthy estate in a good way.
Okay.
Because when I made that video, Blood Meridian shot to #1 on the Amazon bestseller list for like 3 days straight.
I bought it because.
Really? Oh,
yeah,
that's awesome.
Brandon and I both bought the book.
That's fantastic.
But we listened to yours first, and then like got
Aw.
the book and wanted to.
That's cool. Did you read
See
it?
what's up? Yeah, it's very drawn out.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Although-
Your version was way better.
I genuinely appreciated your version of Blood Meridian more because there were several things like campfire scenes and shit that like I did not read that deep into, and your breakdown of that, I was like, oh shit, dude! If I was just casually reading this, I would have blown past that. I didn't get the deeper meaning.
There's been a few times, especially with books. I think last time I was on the show, I talked about like The Road and stuff like that. But like with Blood Meridian, it was one of those moments I remember reading it late at night, and I just like I got so into it. In my mind, I picture like I'm there at the campfire, like I can see them around me, and like as I read the dialogue, I'm like the gravity of what's being said sets in. It really pulled me in. But man, I love that book so much.
Dude, the antagonist is the
judge?
most terrifying person ever.
There are several times like we'll be out, we'll be doing shit or whatever, and I'll just like go to Cody like, I will never sleep, I will never die.
Bro, like my video is kind of cheating a bit. I feel like I robbed people a little bit of some of the nuance to him because I actually just explained it. But like when you're watching or like when you're reading the book and it's describing the stuff involving like the children or whatever, it is so, because the book is so what's the word, metaphorical in a lot of senses. It'll talk about the sunrise, and it will be like the great red hell that set over the landscape that ignited fire on the earth. Like it's stuff like that. It's like very beautifully done. And then as they start to describe some of the travesties that are happening, it's done in a similar tone. And there's a part of you that's like, did that actually happen? And as more and more evidence of it accrues, you start to build in the back of your head. So like spoilers, right?
Even how it ends is like, well,
Are you good over here?
No, I'm laughing over here. I'm trying not to smile on camera. I'm like, I'm watching a Wendigoon video in real life.
dude, it's so I can hear you talk forever, and I'm like, I'm happy with this. If this podcast was 8 hours, I'm like,
I appreciate that. That's
you
very kind.
You robbed me of the nuance from me. To this day, I still don't want to be raped by a giant albino.
Yeah.
We'll be at, oh dude, we were at I think Red Hot Chili Peppers
Donut doesn't
concert
want that.
in San Antonio. Like the bartender, we were like,
He's lying. We know that.
we were at a Red Hot Chili Peppers concert, and the bartender where we were at, I'm like, he looks like the judge.
Stay away from him. Like, I'm glad I didn't invite my son.
Is there an outhouse around here?
Oh my god, bro, that ending, it terrifies me.
crazy.
It terrifies me so much. Like, yeah, so what I meant by like robbing and stuff is like the nuance of like him being a right?
Yeah.
The way it's described is it will describe the judge. Like there's a scene where it's a storm and he's naked on the roof of the building, like reciting like Greek epics or whatever. And then there's like a clause that says the next day a child was missing in the village.
Yeah.
The gang gathers their caravan together. It's like, whoa, what does that mean? And I didn't put it together until like the third or fourth time, and I'm like, oh no. And I start to think about what the
And
implication
then you
of that
remembered
is.
what the Greeks were known for, and then you realized,
So you really start to see it come together because he's at a campfire one day and he's like got this kid. And
Oh
he's, like,
my
being
gosh,
nice to the
yeah.
kid, and they come back and he's already like snapped their neck or something.
He's scalping them, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's
nonchalantly because it was a talk with one of the other guys. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
like,
it's never explicitly mentioned.
no.
yeah.
But it's just always associated.
Toadvine comes back and he sees that he's killed the kid, and Toadvine levels a gun at him. And the judge is like, funny that you would do this now. After all the murder we did back in the village, after the thousands you saved, this one means something to you. And Toadvine thinks about it, uncocks the gun, and walks away. Because Toadvine is a hypocrite in that respect. He just got done slaughtering a village, but because I was around this one for a few days, his life is special.
Although, in this respect, for the unsub audience, if you've never watched his video on Blood Meridian, or if you've never listened to Blood Meridian or read it, please go read that book. It's very fucking good.
It's a good book. We don't have to spend the whole time on it, but I really like that book. It's like, yeah, I think about it a lot. There's a few stories I read that like come back to me in moments when I'm thinking about writing, thinking about stories, and I think about the judge a lot, like just what he represents, how powerful of a figure that is in the world. It's interesting. I love good stories. Love
Because
stories.
I listened to that right after your breakdown of Paradise Lost, and so like that was particularly
That's
impactful.
interesting. That's a good step because
It's a good parallel.
I think I mentioned it in the video, but the judge was a combination of Satan from Paradise Lost, his like mannerisms, his idea of pride and his position, and I forget his name, but the antagonist from Heart of Darkness, which if you've seen
Colonel something or other.
if you've seen Apocalypse Now, it's an adaptation of Heart of Darkness, set in Vietnam.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So the one who all in the head, that whole thing was the inspiration for it, which leads me into kind of my theory that the judge, while literal in the events of the story, is more representative of the devil, of the world, of what's happening around them. Because really, it's
Even his tell.
I just said I won't spend the time talking about Blood Meridian, but I do want to say this. It's fascinating.
And
Listen here, I don't want to talk about trains, but however,
trains are fucking dumb, okay? That's his chism.
At least I didn't get the train kind, right? I can profit off of this kind.
Have you seen the cover for Blood Meridian?
It's so good, though. No.
Did you see the post in the subreddit?
Which one?
Somebody said the only reason that the symbol for autism is a puzzle piece is because they couldn't figure out which train to use.
How do we become like the fucking magnet for autism?
I know. Oh, we're gonna do
I
this.
wonder.
Jeez, guys, I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. What's on the walls? What's on the...
Dude, all I'm saying, the Unsub charity for autism.
Hey, we're crushing it with it when we do it. I like we actually do charities for autism and we crush with it.
Whenever we decide to do a charity, we'll crush with it.
We've done one, now we're gonna do another.
I got the design already. It's just gonna be the train from Rudolph with the square wheels. That's it. That's
Square wheels.
Island of Misfit Toys.
The autistic kids are going to be so mad at you. They're going to be like, that's not how this works. This doesn't work like this.
They're so pissed.
What is it? Sign language intensifies.
Yeah, sure, it's very comfortable. The wheels are wrong. Reviewed on that.
Oh God.
No.
Thank you.
So but you and Charlie's content, what is that one? How are you leading that one?
Typically, like I say, like really the show in essence, like Jackson is the main go-to showrunner on it. Because
The guy from New Zealand.
yeah. He's on the official podcast. Super cool guy. Jackson's actually the one who reached out. I was like, me and Charlie want you on. The official podcast has their own channel now, and they're doing like branch out shows. The Red Thread being one of those. But Jackson like sets up the documents. We'll all like in unison pick out a topic, and he's like, cool. And you don't hear from him for like half a day, and he's like, here's a 14-page dissertation about the players, the people involved, and all that. And it's like, cool. So then like I'll run it through my like research channel, see if there's anything to add, stuff like that, and then we go for it. But like Jackson does the editing, he does most of the compiling. Like that guy's the GOAT, like really putting the show together.
Was that a pun?
Goat man. Yeah, he's the
that
goat.
guy's the goat. I will say there was one of those where because you mentioned, you kept saying over and over again. I think it was like one of the 3 places that the goat man was originating from in lore was Denton, Texas.
Yeah.
Was it Texas?
How far is Denton from here?
I googled it. Wait a minute, hold on.
Or forever. I don't know. Texas is fucking enormous.
That's
annoying.
true.
Dude,
That's
my
true.
district is like 7 hours from like
Bro.
end to end.
Because I brought my family down this time. I Googled. I was like, how far from Mason City, Iowa to Texas is what I said. And I was like, 8 hours. Oh, we're driving. I'm driving here. It's going to be way cooler than flying. And then I was like, wait, hold on. How far from Mason City to San Antonio? 17 hours. Fuck. Over half the trip here across 4 states is just Texas. It's fucking dumb.
Welcome to the party, pal.
It really hits you when you're watching the news and they're like, there's a current conflict in Ukraine, which is the largest country in Europe. It's almost the size of the state of Texas. That was front of the fucking news.
Almost.
Like, almost. One of our 50 states. Yeah. Jesus
This
Christ.
country.
You ever see Texas fit into Alaska, though? That's a fucking wild map to
Texas,
look
it's
at.
like 3 Texases for Alaska. It's fucking ridiculous. Alaska's a big ass bitch.
It's
No, Alaska is huge, but it's also like trying to contextualize European countries into like American states, because you have like I think it's the UK that as an like Britain, I think the entire island what fits into the size of Michigan.
It's roughly the size of
Pussies.
Michigan, yeah. No, that's why
You bunch of bitches thought you could take us, really?
Bring it.
They went from 75% of the world to Michigan. That's how bad they got.
That's why I get
They
annoyed.
took over the entire world for its spices to use none of them.
Yeah.
That's why I get annoyed when the annoying kid from class is like, America needs to do a better job of public transportation like Europe does. It's like, well, you're worried about Michigan, not fucking. It's the entire continent of America. You know what I mean? It's like a different scale of a problem for getting trains everywhere.
I saw one fucking meme the other day where it's like a Taco Bell in the middle of nowhere. It's like the European mind cannot comprehend.
Dude, Nick can make a whole podcast off of the arguments he gets in with kids in his college class.
I
right
fucking
now.
love it.
Have you heard?
That's all
any
my
of these?
Patreon is. It's just me shitting on college kids. It's great. It's,
I thought that was your only fan.
that too. Watch me fuck these college kids.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a different kind of segment, I think.
His wife is just like shaking her head off camera.
Who do you think has to listen to me lose my shit in the basement all day?
That's okay, honey. It's
That's pretty much it, yeah.
Have you heard any of his? Because Nick will go hard on these kids. They will send in a thesis or whatever,
Somebody
and
has
then
to
you
do it.
you just dismantle it.
It's like, right now it's World War II history class, and pretty much the whole class, there's like 3 graded papers, but other than that, it's just graded discussions with like one talking point.
Yeah.
And it's like, the scope of what some of these kids think in college is mind-blowing. I would say over half of high school kids right now, or like new college-age kids in America, believe that America used nuclear weapons when we didn't have to for fun, just because we wanted to know if it would work.
Yeah, yeah.
They've never heard of the Holodomor. They think that communism's awesome. It's never done anything wrong. What else? I don't know. It's pretty much just trash.
It was
opinions the whole
wild to me,
time.
like my first big trip to DC with all the, small things I have going on. Being in a bar with people like talking about communism in a positive light in the capital of the United States. I am not fucking kidding you. It was the bar that like Obama was famous for taking like a huge drink of the beer out of, like that photo.
Okay.
Across the street, if you exit the bar, you're staring at it, is the Holodomor Memorial.
That wasn't real communism, though.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not real communism.
Today we're going to talk about
Christ.
Today we're going to talk about Nick doing.
It'll be different when I do it, guys. I promise. It works out every fucking time. It's gonna be different this time, though.
It's weird, like the Holodomor, like basically the Holocaust, but for Ukrainians that
Yeah.
nobody talks about.
Yep. Oh, there's
Because
more.
it's
there was,
communism.
There was, like most people don't. Everybody thinks of like concentration camps. They just talk about Auschwitz. Auschwitz was like one of the few in Western Europe. There was more concentration camps in Eastern Europe than there was in Western Europe. Period.
By far.
By far. Like
Yeah.
it's not even close.
What was the Dachau? I think it was one of the big ones.
I don't know the specific names of them.
Dachau was third biggest, if I recall right, second or third. I remember it because there was a video I did related to a battle at the end of the war that was right next to Dachau. So yeah, that one was in Austria.
What battle was it? So you and Nick can fucking.
The Battle of
minutes.
Castle.
I can sit here and be quiet for a minute.
Castle Litter. Yep. I made a video about that. It's a great
okay.
story.
You're-
It's
you're-
fantastic.
I'm nervous to make
You're
it
the only
because-
person on the podcast that just actually lifts weights. So like,
But
carrying the weight of the silence is
Cody over here bench pressing silence.
what's your max bench? What's your max bench is 9 minutes of not talking.
Just showing up.
hi, Cody. So let me ask, why are you afraid to make the Itter video?
because the amount of nuance required to be able to say things like, "Hey, there was this time where America teamed up with the German military."
Hold on. I got you.
Yeah,
Because I
I'm
want to see. I
listening.
want to see your take on it. So
Go
I
ahead.
did the
Well,
video.
this is interesting considering
No,
current events.
Shut up. Shut up. Dang it.
Just don't look to your left. Don't look to your left.
Yeah. I'm pretty good at this on this show.
I know. If you don't you fucking batty me.
I just pull focus on you. You get straight right now.
I can almost hear his voice.
Did you just say I had a bad take?
So when I was explaining it, I didn't get flagged for this, and I do think this is the historical context. At the end of World War II, Germany had exhausted the majority of its fully aged trained fighting forces. Like this was in 45. They were throwing whoever they could, like
They were
15, 16-year-old kids with rifles out into the field, right? So the difference and what differentiates ITER so much is the Wehrmacht, which was the army effectively, was composed of like children, fighters who were raised in like the schools of the Third Reich, like pushed onto the fields. And the SS was made up of the officers who ran the Dachau concentration camp. The officers realized that they would not be favorable in a trial after the war, so they were going to fight to the last man. But several soldiers of the Wehrmacht realized that the Americans weren't just executing prisoners and they could probably surrender. So a Wehrmacht officer who was effectively leading an army of high schoolers or a station of high schoolers realized that maybe he doesn't want them to get killed over nothing. So he surrenders and goes to the American side. And there was a prison, Cancellation. Yep. I mean, you know the story. Nearby Dachau, where the SS guards were planning to attack. So, well, they had just evacuated it. Wehrmacht general officer gets the Americans to go help. SS comes to attack, and the Wehrmacht helps the Americans get the prisoners out of the castle. Yep. Yeah, I think as long as you play into the nuance of like, because it's not saying you're not saying in that like, oh, Germany wasn't.
As you explain this, could you
Who
shift
are you?
your chair closer this way?
Do I know you?
You're starting to hurt my feelings.
Like, man, he did 48 minutes talking to everyone. Now he just shifted completely to the.
You committed to the bit, and I wanted to fucking sewer slide.
Like, the whites are talking. Let me give them their attention over here.
I was preaching about the Reich, and I want to talk to the whites.
The Browns, they're over there now.
You got me there.
He's like, I'm never coming back on this podcast ever again.
Ho, 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 gentlemen. Get ready to jingle and deck your balls this holiday season with our friends over at MANSCAPED. The leaders in below-the-waist grooming have just launched their Performance Package 5.0 Ultra. But I like to call it a small gift for your big package. Featuring Santa's #1 helper, the Lawnmower 5.0. Manscaped guarantees that you'll be stuffing more than stockings this season. Let your ornament shine. That's balls. Let your balls shine. And enjoy 20% off if you head over to manscaped.com and use code UNSUB. Mrs. Claus will thank you. Thank you. The Performance Package 5.0 Ultra is a one-stop shop for holiday gifting perfection. I love it because I never nick my twig and berries. Take care of those chestnuts with Manscaped's Boxers 2.0, featuring their signature jewel pouch to keep you calm, cool, and collected. Manscaped has you covered with their new Shears 3.0 nail grooming kit. Get 20% off and free shipping if you use code UNSUB at manscaped.com. Give the gift of Manscaped this holiday season.
Okay, I do have a very funny story on that bit about my grandmother, who is she was a German, like, so my mother's mother was a German civilian during
We know
World
how
War II.
grandmas work.
You know what? Never mind. Fuck you, Nick.
The wheels are square, but they're there, okay?
So anyway, yeah, Cancellation.
No, she was a German civilian during World War II, so she like grew up, like her entire preteen years were during World War II. She's got some fucking wild stories. Amazing woman, like genuinely so. But she also, you know, has had some influences later in her life that are very left leaning, and so she like likes to talk about Trump a lot. And like the thing going through my mind is like, Grandma, Oma, you've waved in person to Hitler. You don't get to talk about who the next Hitler is.
Period, Grandma.
I love you to death. You don't get that privilege anymore.
Oh, Hitler was looking so handsome today. His mustache on point.
What a nice man.
Oh, it's like the meme. Have you seen the Jewish lady? She was like 90-something years old. The grandmama, and she like drinks. She's
shot.
Yeah, she takes a shot. And
She was not a Jewish lady.
She was not Jewish.
No.
Oh yeah, but the woman, the German lady is.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
Definitely more German than
the
Jewish.
background.
Yeah, but like the grandson grabbed her arm and shoved it down. You're like, holy shit.
You hear an audible no, grandma, grabbing her
No,
hand.
legit. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Oh, I seen it. Yeah, I know. You see the grandson like the no, grandma.
No.
The video cuts right there.
Well, it's just that moment of like, oh, he's the new Hitler. It's like, are you fucking with me? You were there for the first one.
Continue on this story though. So you have your different.
Oh no, I was at the
my,
end of it.
My,
just
my whole concern is just you have to actually have the nuance to be able to say like, hey, there's varying grades of evil when it comes to Germans in World War II. Some of them were 16-year-old kids that didn't have a choice, and some of them were, political radicals that actually believed in that shit. But you can't have opinions like that on the internet.
The way you explain it isn't in such a way to say that like, oh, Germany wasn't bad at some parts. It's to say that Germany was so wicked that they were using effectively meat for the war machine. Anyone who could hold a rifle was pushed to the front lines. During the Battle of Berlin, there's stories of some like artillery positions where the average age of the soldier was 14. Like just absolutely horrific war crimes that were being committed. And it's not to say that, it's not like, oh, Germany wasn't so bad. It's that they were so bad that there were people in this position.
And it realistically, it wasn't like Germany was so bad necessarily. It's just like you have 1,000 people in charge, roughly at the top.
Yeah, the German government. Yeah. Of course.
Everyone else is told Germany is in danger. Your homeland is being invaded. You have to protect yourself. Or you have to protect your homeland. It's a common lie that's been told as long as humanity has existed.
Yeah. There's like a lot of people who like you said, several people who like lived down the country lane were handed a rifle and told to march. They didn't know the gravity of what was happening. The people who do not get that excuse is like the SS officers and people like that responsible. Yeah. So that's why I think the Castle of Itter would work, because there is that distinguishing. Like they had no excuse. They knew what was coming.
I mean, you even get like in the South during the Civil War, it's like people think like, oh, the South fought for slavery. It's like 4% of Confederate soldiers own slaves.
Yeah,
on 4% of the South.
Yeah, on the government level, definitely. But like when it comes to like the individual soldiers, the people who were marching, these guys couldn't read or write. Most of them, they lived in the backwoods. Yeah, I mean it's like that with any war. People are victims of some rich man's game. They're just pawns in a fight.
Well, you look at a single.
Man, this got Pink Floyd real quick.
I know, but because you get like, what is the most death in the Civil War? It's like 60,000.
I think it was Antietam Creek or
60 or 80,000 U.S.
It was the most U.S. deaths ever happened in one day in war.
It was like 60 or 80,000.
Right? I don't remember the exact number.
It's
almost like we have a
it
nightmare
sounds
break
right.
in our podcast.
I think it was Antietam.
Yeah, and it was like 60 to 80,000, and then you take that out, and that was the Civil War. That is our most bloody battle. Now you go over to Germany with what you're going with, like arming these 14 to 16-year-old kids, and both on Russian and German side, and then you have their battles like Berlin or any of that.
Horrific.
You were looking at 20 to 40 million deaths, right? Like around there for
I may be wrong about this.
Stalingrad.
Yeah, I may be wrong about this, but the total deaths of World War II in combat were 48 million. 20 of that was Russians, if I recall.
That's a rough. What's crazy?
These are really rough estimates. Yeah,
they're like it could be 20 to 40 million Russian deaths.
So it's like you said, the meat grinder. They're just throwing bodies and shit, no matter how old they are.
The Russians in particular were.
Yeah, they lost. Like 3/4 of their male populace was gone after war.
Like the missing generation, so to speak. So many men died that it created. I mean, that's why, like to this day, Russia's a massive, massive landscape. But there's entire, hundreds and hundreds of miles of land that's just uninhabited because the population is so low because so many able-bodied men died during the war.
Also, like a lot of the land is uninhabitable.
That's here, of course. Yeah, that doesn't help. Yeah.
It was interesting to see. One of the Australian YouTubers that came to our range day asked me like, and I'm not prepared to answer this question because I don't look into this stuff. But he asked me how many people I thought lived in Australia. How many people do you think live in Australia?
It's not that much.
Because it's just around the coast.
Yeah, no
one
lives
in like 375 million people live in the U.S. How many do you think live in Australia? Big ass fucking country.
40 million.
I'm cheating a bit because I think I've seen this statistic before, so it's not getting across the level of like gravity you want.
Well, he knows I'm a fucking retard. So
you know what? Solidarity with Cody, 39 million.
Solidarity. I already know the answer.
Okay, well, like it was super fucking low. It was like 35 million or something like that. I was like,
28 mil or something.
It's
28 to 35 million.
Australia and Canada are like very similar. There's like a couple major cities with most of the population, and the rest of it's extremely rural.
Which explains, I think, why they're so far left leaning. Is because like the majority of the population is in cities, and everybody else is just in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yep.
Like, this sucks.
Yeah, it's 100% F.
Fucking
You got 2 cities with all the voting power.
Yeah.
Getting rid of guns, and then some poor dude in above the Arctic Circle can't defend himself against grizzly bears.
Excuse me, sir. That's 44 years in prison. It's like, well, I need to defend myself against the grizzly.
Right. Shit.
Especially Australia. Australia's the one land they're like, yeah, we can't do this. And I'm like, man, that is the one land I'd want a gun of any type.
Well, everything in the countryside
Period.
wants to kill you.
The Emu War. They did use a gun against him, and they lost.
Yeah, Maxim
like
guns.
on that.
Maxim guns couldn't kill the emu.
To be fair,
it
emus
didn't
are
work.
bullshit. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Growing up in the public education system of Alabama, I know like I learned from 2 things in Australia. It's like Quigley Down Under is a wonderful movie, and YouTubers from Australia are fucking pieces of shit. So,
Science.
Not all
Except for the
not
boys.
all of them. Sorry.
The boys are cool.
But some.
Okay. The boys. Sorry, I'm
boys
sorry,
are
Eddie.
cool.
My bad, dude. The boys are
Some of
fucking
y'all
amazing.
piece of
Wait,
shit.
are we challenging them to a boxing match right now? Wait, no.
We're going hard right now. We're gonna beat the shit out of people. I'm down for this.
You know what? If Eli takes a boxing match, I will too.
Yeah, done.
Done.
Same.
Who am I? Oh, we're just all
Same.
signing up.
The Unsubscribed podcast hosts its own boxing match.
I've never fought before. This would be
Texas,
exciting.
Australia.
Dude, I
this
can't
year
wait
at
to see you do
SummerSlam.
your first boxing match.
Dude, I'm scared to learn boxing. One day I'm going to learn this. It's fighting, like fisticuffs is what they call it. I've never done
Yeah.
it. I'm super excited for it. You've never done Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, I've seen you fight before. You suck, dude.
Yeah, I'm trash.
Terrible.
I promise you this: if you accept the fight, I'll do one.
Oh, done. It's crazy you have the pro fight. You're the one with the record right now.
I want to tell my kids, I'm like, dude, I am a fucking technically undefeated pro boxer, according to the state of Tennessee.
You getting early
According
fights?
to boxing.
Do what?
Yeah, according to boxing.
No,
technically.
absolutely not.
Why?
That's the one thing that my wife told me when like the Creator Clash thing and all
Yeah?
that started up. She was like, whatever
Hard
happens,
no.
you are not getting in a ring with someone.
Why?
Dude, my mom.
Because
Your wife sounds like she cares about you.
Yeah,
That must be nice.
What a loser. Yeah, my wife. What a loser, right? Not,
Can Nick do a fight?
I fucking
Yo,
told you.
hey, let's go.
Your wife don't care about you. She's over there just flipping her hair.
Don't matter.
Nick's wife don't give a fuck.
I hope he gets the shit kicked out of him.
Hey, Mom. Can I do a boxing match? Are you okay with that? Okay, cool. My mom's cool with it. We don't care about you.
We can all die.
Brandon did it for my birthday, so
Oh, I did. I forgot about that. I did my boxing match on your birthday.
Oh, Cody, you want to come say hi?
Come here.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on over here.
Okay, comments. Start cat calling.
Oh, God.
Cody's dad's gonna
No.
beat the shit out of you.
Down. Don't do
Yeah,
that.
Cody's dad's gonna beat you up. Get over here, start flexing real quick. Joe, get in front, Go on.
Oh, we're doing dance.
Other side, other side.
there.
No,
Come here, come
other
here.
side.
Yeah,
No,
you.
Cody, flip.
Yeah.
Flip her.
Come here.
flipper.
I got you.
No, flip. Yeah, go. There,
no.
there you go. There, now we can see it. Hey, there we go. And then lean down. Hey, there we go. Dude, look at that. That's
What a big
family.
old happy
Oh,
family.
that's so cute.
It's a baker's dozen.
Oh, yeah.
That's so awesome. Like,
Hell yeah.
The audio listeners like, okay.
Must be cool.
This
Yeah.
is a great story, guys.
that's what you get for being an audio listener.
What's the meme Aragon in the movie? Is Aragon in the book? It just shows the word Aragon. Cody's mom. On the audio.
These amazing humans over here. We love all of them.
I love you, Mom.
You're all.
There I was at the bar at 1:30 in the morning, and I met Cody's mom. It was pretty awesome. It was the best context.
Oh, that was your
probably.
first time?
Yes.
Oh, man.
At 1:30 in the morning,
Dear God.
hammered.
Did you stay that late last
She's a
night?
really nice lady. Yeah, absolutely. And then I went to Denny's.
You stayed
Again
late?
last night?
Yeah.
Are you just a breakfast human?
Yes.
That
The
sounds like
most important.
Are you a breakfast
Are you a
American?
mud person?
No,
breakfast
speaking.
people.
I had a question that I wanted to ask.
Okay.
Oh,
You.
Yes, go right ahead.
Are there any slurs for any cryptids?
Yeah. So like Bigfoot, people call him Squatch all the time, stuff like that. Yeah.
Does he
yeah.
not like that?
Well, I mean, find out. Go in the woods, say it real loud. You'll be the first to know. Don't worry.
You're a Squanchy American.
Hey, we're in a Squatch neighborhood.
Dang.
Oh my God, dude.
That can't
How are the
be.
credit scores
I gotta
there?
get
Thank you. What a great question.
What's a Squatch?
Like Sasquatch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
makes
yeah.
way more-
Bro.
Sorry.
Bro.
This guy.
Yeah, this guy didn't know
on
the
wheels
word
on that
Squatch.
train.
We're in a neighborhood with a size 15 shoe.
Oh God. We're gonna start talking about mud people again, Brandon.
Jesus Christ, that was aggressive last time.
Do you want to clarify what that means?
No, actually.
Oh yeah, he doesn't know mud
What
people.
about-
Isaiah on mud
just
people.
out of curiosity.
Mud people. We
So,
need to give
What,
him a
what,
rundown.
no, what's your like Vegas odds that is or is not a slur?
It's all on red.
He's sweating right now.
Do we want to do this? Really?
No, we don't. Please don't.
No,
If
you
it- what are
gotta tell him now.
What are you talking about, mud people?
Just give me a short, like, what is it?
So in Fayetteville, like down south of Fayetteville, we had Lumberton, which is like home to a lot of like Lumbee Indians, and basically there were people that we would contract a lot of times for like sheetrock and shit, but which is called mudding when you're on a job site, and they were fucking good at it. Like literally, they were like good tradesmen.
Okay, yeah, I
We'd
see
hire
where
them
this is
all
going.
the time.
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
like, we'd just call them the mud people. Like, oh, call them the mud people. And like people would call, like, and it sounds like a fucking slur. It's like, no, we're like complimenting them. They were good at their job, so we hired them.
When
Aren't you running for office?
To be
No, yeah, everyone back there was like,
when the live audience, I hear Jesus Christ.
I just felt all the air come back into the room after you explained that.
You're like, oh, thank God. Okay.
I'm watching a fucking train
You
wreck with
hanged on
square
every
wheels.
word of that. It wasn't getting better. You're like, oh, well, near where I live, there's this group of Native Americans. It's like, Brandon, watch it.
Look, I've already been through this cancellation gauntlet once.
oh God, he just starts to like the most successful podcast there's gonna be, and it's like, oh, mud people. They're talking about mud people.
Bro.
He's like, I'm never going.
We'll get a few episodes of that out before this comes out, so I'll roll off that.
Isaiah, a serious question. What's your favorite slur?
All four mics go to his mouth. He's like, no, guys, I want to talk about blood meridian.
Squatch, because Squatch, because I like Bigfoot. You're not getting these back, either of you. Give them here. I'll keep both. You don't earn them. No, Cody, hold these. My God.
Dude, people started talking shit about you online, and
Can we talk about
the
that?
funniest
dude, all of us were like,
Hey,
did you
is that
say
allowed?
about him?
To talk about?
I haven't heard, I did not know. I don't go on the Twitter, the X much, unless I want to watch dead people, apparently, because that's my entire feed. I'm like, oh man, I want to be happy. One scroll, I'm like, I've watched 4 people die already.
There's
Thanks-
a man
thanks for
being
watching my
sucked in underneath a semi-trailer. That's so cool.
I'm like, why Twitter? Okay. What is people decided to cancel you?
Yeah. So I don't know this, but I think it came as backlash. I won't get into specific. I mean, if you're online, you know who. Actually, it doesn't matter. Who cares? So like, I was in a video.
If they made it this podcast.
If they made it this
One of
far,
us.
they get it done.
Get out of them.
A friend of mine, internet historian.
I'll kill you.
Friend of mine, internet historian. He makes a video that's under criticism, talking about plagiarism and stuff like that. I was in that video as a voice actor. I should clarify for the record, I was just a voice actor. I didn't help script, do anything like that. So video comes out, and then video comes under fire for plagiarism. So because I was like the lead guy in that, They were like, oh, well, this guy, this he's in on it. They're in cahoots. We got to get him. So people were just like, well,
so Internet Historian didn't get shit at all.
oh, he did. He did.
Okay.
He did. He's much worse than me. Much worse.
I didn't
Far
see
worse
any
than
of
me.
that
Yeah.
Was it a verbatim? So you, okay, this is for reference. If you do not know how this works, all these guys, and I will account for everyone, they spend week to 2 weeks on each piece of video you're going. Maybe not Cody. Cody's like, I got to watch this. I'm going to do my research, break it down. You still spend like 24 hours to 48 hours. You just have a faster turnaround.
Brown Men Dead video.
Yeah.
All right.
Cody, you say it like that.
And then he took accountability for all of us. Cody, take your pants off.
Then he just fills in the gaps. But in general, everyone is doing a bunch of deep research unless we're working with somebody that usually we trust. I'm assuming that's what happened. You guys send a script. When you send a script, you're like, I got the time to digest this and break it down and make sure it's factual.
It was the Caver video?
The Man in Cave video about Floyd. Well, I forget his first name. Floyd, the guy who had the cave in Kentucky.
Yeah, he laid there for like how long?
That guy, yeah. 3 weeks. 3 weeks, I think.
Not Ted the Caver. Sorry, yeah.
No.
Yeah. Okay, the other cave.
I'm sorry,
video,
you're being
yeah.
typecast as the cave guy.
Yeah.
This is Putty Cave?
I think that was the name. There was some facts around that case that are kind of confusing. Like you found one cave, but then do well. So there was another cave, but some think it connects. So some people use the names interchangeably. Some say one, but yeah, sure, it's in that like wheelhouse, right? So I was in that. Now I didn't do the script as far as like the actual video goes. The way like he set up the video is he had different characters. Several other YouTubers were in it as well. I was the main guy though. We each did like voice lines, sort of like voice acting as if we're there. So I had lines about like, help, I'm trapped, my leg hurts, get me out of here, basic stuff like that. Like I was doing the voice of the guy stuck in the cave. So I didn't even see a script around like what he was saying in the video. I was just reading lines like, it's cold in here. And that was like the extent of what I saw in the video before.
Acting? Act terrified. It's cold in here. I'm like, oh man.
Help! Get that penis away from me.
Can you get his too?
Isaiah's my favorite human.
I can't believe you came on this podcast, honestly.
He's never coming back now.
Anyway, so internet historian gets hit over that. He got way worse than me, and it was funny because he texted me after it happened, and he was like, "I hope none of this comes back on you." And I'm like, how could any of this come back on me? Like, ate my words on that one. So people were like, "Oh, this guy's also probably a plagiarist. Let's go through his stuff." So there was like a Reddit post from Tumblr post from a few years ago. I used to like have a meme account where I would joke about like, oh, the ATF shot my dog, or like, oh, when.
Why did you point to me on that?
I don't know. I was just thinking about like killing federal agents, and I'm like, this guy knows what I'm talking about.
So this
Congressman
is
over here.
Yeah. The
retribution.
You're like, oh, you're sinking me here. This is how I sink you,
I'll be
Brady.
right back.
That's more booze.
I was trying to leave.
Did you just have a drink swab off to like a reload?
Mr. King Trout with the handoff.
With the save.
Get right here, face right here.
This guy tried to not let me leave when he was talking about killing federal agents.
As long as you're doing voice acting, do you
gotta
want to
take a
do
fat
the
piss
I'm
if you
Brandon
wanna just-
Herrera and I
Yeah,
approve this message at the end of all his political ad campaign?
I think that'd be great too. On top of everything, tie me into a political campaign. That's what I need right now.
We're just really pulling you down.
You're the pro voice actor.
No. Not like this.
It's happening.
No. Take it. Where's that unplug at? Stop. You ready? Oh my gosh.
I'm Brandon Herrera and I approve this message.
Isaiah's like, I
can't stand you. I swear.
Stop.
I will face that side of the table again. Yeah, but anyway, it's
We're like right on the fucking hilt of him talking about like, oh, well, I never thought I'd be implicated in this one thing I appeared on.
and then here you are like, oh, you want to go further? We can take it further. Yeah, no.
Have you heard of the mud people?
Isaiah's like, really?
What we
This
say-
is where we're going right now.
What we say in the last podcast, like, oh, if only the Japanese were just a bit hungrier.
Hungrier 9/11 wouldn't have happened.
Jesus Christ. No, if they could aim better. Do you want to hear that story?
No, leave it.
Because I know you know.
It's on the table.
No, I know you
Don't
know.
look it up.
You know that one?
What story?
About George Bush Sr.
What?
About George Bush Sr.
Oh, about
I
in
explained-
World War II.
I explained how he was the only one that survived.
Okay, all right,
I explained
that's
that story,
actually fine. That's
and then
actually
he
fine.
steps in
Okay.
and goes, "So you're telling me if the Japanese could aim better, we wouldn't?"
No. So if the Japanese were a bit hungrier, 9/11 would have been prevented.
How does hungry relate to shooting down?
The cannibalism part of that.
If they would have ate
yeah.
George Bush Sr.
George W. Bush
running
would
for office.
You sound like my consultant.
That's the
And you
dirty
said they
secret.
should have ate a president?
That's the dirty secret. He's running backwards. He's running away from it.
I think this is a man that really does not want to be elected. If he gets elected, you're like, it was the will of God.
So it's
That
my
was his man.
it's come to my attention that my consultant has not seen any of my content.
Has he not watched?
I don't think so. I am holding bets on when he quits.
It's like, it's just exciting to me because I'm literally watching a story unfold of like a human actually wearing plot armor, and it's just it's just water off a duck, just completely untouchable.
Just wait till the attack ads start, because I guarantee you 3/4 of them are coming from this podcast.
And then you saying, I approve this message for every one of them.
And congratulations, by the way, on about let me guess, about $500,000 worth of RNC money going toward promoting the Unsubscribe podcast.
You hear the phrase "on the record." This is on the record. You just said that.
This is the official record.
Yeah.
How deep are we into
I'll see you guys on Fox News.
I can't wait. This is gonna be so much fun.
Well, the only thing you can't say about me is that I'm not honest.
This is
True.
true.
Or a heterosexual.
I love my internet friends.
Wendigoon, can you get me out of this episode? Can you just have it where you're talking to no one? And
You just see an arm go up on the corner.
Wendigoon's here.
Big fan.
Hold on, can I get a picture with you?
You can take the mic too. You want?
Please, during the podcast.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Dude, I'm serious. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
I
This is
fucking
how
love
this
this.
podcast.
Dale
always-
Gribble, ladies and gentlemen.
Huge fan. Pocket sand.
Wendigoon's like, I don't know how I recover.
Guns
from this,
don't kill people, Hank. The government does.
It's wild. I'm relieved to talk about me being called an alt-right extremist.
Your video.
You said federal agents being killed.
Gobble,
I was
gobble,
like, I
gobble,
need to
gobble,
go
gobble,
now.
Okay. So like, yeah. So I used to make jokes about like ATF, which I still do. I just don't do it in the same format.
It's just not
on the
your
record.
platform.
I used to make jokes about that stuff. I used to go by the name Boogaloo Boy, which is back when the meme page was there and stuff. Because when I started it, it was like, haha, Second American War, woohoo, we like guns and stuff like that. And then it became
Second
like,
American War. Could you expand on that?
shut up. It was memes, it was jokes. It would kill you, you know.
I just want to know what you mean by that.
Okay, ananyway.
B tier, calm
So, but what? So like, as that became like a thing I didn't want to be associated with, a bunch of grifters came in from like actual alt-right stuff like that. I was like, I just like guns. I'm not here for this.
Oh, you guys aren't joking.
I deleted.
Oh shit.
All of
Oh,
that.
so you didn't want a guided tour of the Capitol?
I like you're the one that needs to
Wendigoon,
worry
are you running
the
for
most
Congress?
about everything, and you are the least worried about.
That's why I'll win.
I told you it's plot armor.
Also, that may or may not age well.
You're getting assassinated. If no one else does it, I am.
No.
Wendigoon makes a video.
You know,
about it.
I just think it's a nice time to take a fucking convertible cruise in Dallas.
Yeah.
Bro, fuck that. I already brought that up to him. He's already designated who's doing his assassination breakdown video on his channel.
Who?
Did you think you weren't on the list?
You pick someone besides me to do it? I'll be actually mad if that's what happens. If I don't get to cover your death, I'm furious.
Yours is
Cody
gonna be
gets-
weird
Co-
because it goes live 30 seconds after it
Cody
happens.
gets body cam.
Cody
That's
gets
fine.
the body
He gets
cam.
body cam.
You get the unofficial story.
Okay.
I get the history breakdown.
All right. That's a legal pact. Yeah.
I can
That
sell
was the
merch.
Louisiana Purchase.
I just want the money from the merch.
Exactly.
We have. Can we put like the freeze frame of the impact on a T-shirt? Like just that.
That was like the Breakfast Club fist in the air.
The congressional iceberg video is going to be so good.
Oh, dude, if you want to do an
Brandon
iceberg,
Herrera's
oh my
assassination,
God.
B tier.
Okay, hold on. To finish this, to finish this,
Gonna put you in B tier for your assassination.
bro.
Please do that when
He
he
got
dies.
killed by 22.
You slide it down to F tier.
He gets killed, and I'm
Man,
like, I've seen better.
You're like, bro, Reagan was like 85 and he didn't get killed by a 22. What the fuck is your problem?
Boy's got a weak skull.
It'd be really funny if you died in like a lame way, like you got stabbed. It's like we can't even market that. Like,
B tier bleeds out like a bitch.
Triple B.
that's a B tier bleed right there.
Triple B right here.
That was not the alliteration I was hoping for. B tier bleeds out like a bitch.
That's good. Man, you're never losing that name now. Good job.
It's your fault, fucker.
Keeps talking about it. I was gonna leave it be, but no. You know what? I like it. I'm glad. B tier Brandon.
That was really funny to me because I was able to revisit that. I'm like, all right, this is long con. Maybe one day he'll get really popular, probably more popular than me, and then I'll be able to roast him for this.
Yeah. Is that what this podcast episode is? Is this the long con?
No, the long con was me. Was you coming to my shop?
Oh,
I was able to like load a gun.
and you
behind
pulled the gun on me? Yeah.
So fucking B tier.
Yeah. First time I ever met this guy, he pulled a gun on me as soon as we got into a locked room. That was.
You too? What do you do afterwards? I want to see if our stories are these empty?
Okay, to finish the story, so it quit being brought up.
Hey, Cody, how's it going?
People saw the old like, haha, I hate the FBI memes. People saw that like, I was making memes about like again, ATF, Waco, stuff like that, and they're like, oh,
Weird you got an audience.
neo-Nazi. So then that's how that happened, and then people just started saying it, and like stuff happens on Twitter all the time. People will just like say, I don't like this guy, therefore I think he's XYZ things. Would have left it alone, but I woke up Wednesday morning and I opened Twitter and I hit the search button and it's trending in the USA, Lakers game or whatever, Wendigoon. So I'm like, okay, and I click on it and the first one's a tweet that's like, Wendigoon is a neo-Nazi. I'm like, okay, for the first time I'm going to address this. I just made a tweet that's like, hey everyone, I know we've had our fun, but no. So yeah, that's what it is. But it was worth it because Cody, when I saw him Thursday night, like I'm like, Cody, and I start to hug him and he's kind of like a little quiet and he goes, I need to hurt people that are mean to you.
Dude, when you guys did that, I was on the range filming a video that was 10 of 10 for me. Thank you guys, by the way.
When it's the baseline, I love
Good.
it.
I was filming a video and I just saw like Cody text the group chat, do we need to hurt people for you? And I was like, I was unaware of any fucking thing going on with you. I was like, we're killing people for Wendy Boy. Yeah. We're killing people for Isaiah.
Let me
That's fair.
clarify, audience. Anyone who has said anything bad about me, I do not want anything bad to happen to them.
I do.
People, stop.
I'll go on the record.
don't want-
Fuck them.
Preemptively, don't use those cameras. Use this one right here. Do not say or harass
not
anyone.
violence.
Stop.
Love not
You
violence.
do what you like.
No. Did you? Oh, I thought the cords were
I'm not
loud.
your dad.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on.
What the
I
fuck?
apologize. I
How did that
apologize.
break
I
off?
have no idea what just
That
happened.
is, can that even come off? What did you do?
Don't be mean to people. Be Christ-like. Jesus loves you, man.
You're gonna
There.
get more.
Jesus said, sell your cloak and buy one if you don't have a sword.
Sell your cloak and buy a cloak. Is that what you just said?
If you don't have a cloak, sell your
buy
cloak.
a
Sell your
sword.
cloak and buy a sword. Yeah, yeah.
If you don't have a shirt, buy a shirt. moron.
Matthew 7:15.
When did you get in his lap? When did that happen? I'm sorry.
We went to Denny's together last night. You don't want to hear what happened?
Guys, can I do a shout out real quick?
Of course,
Yeah,
yeah.
I do it. All right. I was at the skate shop earlier, and Seth came by. He was an amazing person. He gave me his hat. He was deployed during COVID on the USS Nimitz, and they were deployed for over 300 days. And he said that our videos kept like a lot of dudes from doing the sewer slides. Sewer slides. Sorry. Shout out to Seth though, man. Thanks for being awesome.
Seth, what military? Navy?
Navy, yeah, he's a Navy boy.
yeah.
But yeah, because during COVID, they weren't hitting ports. They were at sea for over 300 days.
Dude, no prosties.
Pandemic. We're staying in the ocean, is what they said.
Yeah, exactly. And so
Dude,
he said,
every Navy man's like, what about the prostitute, sir? Like, no, it's COVID. But
Is that sexually transmitted? What the fuck are you talking about?
To be honest, after like 200 days, you're like, maybe I am gay.
it's not gay if you're underway, buddy.
Science.
Cody looking real cute right now.
That's true.
Yeah, what's changed?
I say it's just like, I hate everything.
Thank you, Seth. Appreciate it. Thanks for
Cody's over here like, maybe he's looking submissive and realistic.
I gotta get out of here. I don't want to be a
Yeah,
solicitor.
I feel this guy.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
like, oh
appreciate
man,
it.
everyone right now.
Yeah.
Cody, can I kick you more that way real quick?
Oh, he
Good
wants you to
sir.
switch back?
A little more that way?
No.
This way, Cody. Oh yeah, just switch.
No, we'll just go back.
Okay, and then I'll check camera angles.
Sorry.
We're checking.
Anyways, I can't believe you fucking came on this podcast, bro. I was shocked.
all podcast. Nick, kick your chair over that way more. There you go.
Oh,
Now
you're never gonna tell me
looking
to
all
get closer
cute.
to Cody.
Well,
I'm happy
last time
to.
we were like, let's talk about video games and books, and now you're like, fuck, these guys are just drilling me on getting canceled.
I
Right?
mean, they're friends.
Blood,
That's what
Meridian, and
friends do.
Nazis.
What's your favorite cryptid slur?
Yeah, no, he didn't even say the cryptid part. He just said,
If you could choose your favorite heroes, the Judge or Hitler, which one
oh
is
my
it?
god.
If one cryptid deserves a slur, which one is it?
He's just playing with his watch. He's like, I'm gonna make sure it's connected and then connected again.
Dude, have you ever seen Heather's Mothman?
Oh, yeah.
The hoodie that she wears. Yeah.
Quality. What's it say, Cody?
What is it? I sucked the Mothman's dick in West Virginia or something like that.
And all I got was this stupid
yeah,
t-shirt.
all I got was
Yeah,
a
no.
stupid t-shirt. I'm like, stop wearing that around people.
I'm gonna start wearing that t-shirt. Like, just I sucked Tony Gonzalez's dick, and all I got was the stupid fucking t-shirt.
That's a good campaign shirt.
I think I'm gonna start wearing that.
And I lost my gun rights. No.
Do we have the same understanding of what a campaign is?
Listen here, fucker. You sound like my campaign manager.
I feel like Isaiah is like, I'm the smartest person in this room right now.
No, not at all.
I should not be here.
I'm just the most scared.
I'm shocked at how well your campaign's going.
Me too. Yeah. It's almost like people appreciate you for being honest and not
Being a real
putting on
person.
front.
Yeah, that's fair. Also, having a politician that's not fucking 70 would be cool.
Yeah.
It's a pretty
not
rad.
having somebody who's 75 and been fake for the last 50 years of their life is really cool.
Understands how Wi-Fi works. Yeah,
Yeah.
be great.
Hey, maybe it's a good idea for the people that legislate what Bitcoin is and how it can, exist, understand what Bitcoin is.
That'd be fucking fantastic. I'm not gonna lie to you.
So cryptids are fucking cool.
I know. I was about to be like, so, but what is your favorite? No, but that's actually a really good question. Is which is one of your favorite stories you're looking forward to talking about with either Hunter or?
I wonder what Wendigoon's favorite cryptid is.
No, it could be something else. We don't know.
It is the Wendigo, to be fair. To be like,
Fuck you. Fuck Sean. Answer something else.
Ask me what trade I worked in. Quick.
Grumpy electronic guy.
It's okay, you're gonna let him talk. You asked me when I first met you.
That's true. I picked him up from the airport. I'm like, so what'd you do before
electron
YouTube?
guy?
Your answer was the best ever, though.
So as far as tradesmen go, would you prefer skinny or fat?
It was so awkward, man. I was just trying to, like, I'm an introvert. I try to make small talk, man.
forgot about this.
I pick him up from the airport and I'm like, what'd you do before YouTube? Oh, fuck.
I was an electrician, and Cody just goes, fuck. And then we sat in complete silence for what felt like 7 fucking years.
he's sitting there. He starts going like, stupid.
Internally, on that long drive to the podcast house, he's like, "You fucked up, Cody. You're so stupid. You should have been so cool."
I'm just going to veer off into a fucking truck right now.
So, but what about electricity? Fuck.
Dude, the names that have come out of that are so funny, though.
Out of the Fat Electrician?
Yeah.
Or-
Oh,
yeah.
God.
The ones that they're
There's
leaving
so
the comments
many.
for.
Chubby Electron Man.
Dude, that's my favorite. Chubby Electron is
Obese
my
Power Ranger.
That's a funny slur for electricians.
I know.
Power Rangers.
Yeah, those have been pretty good.
Don't reply to these. I want to so bad.
No, those are great. I love them.
Outside of the Wendigoon,
Right.
what else is
Bro,
like one of your
I
stories
would-
where you're like, fuck, this is fucking dope?
I've talked about a couple of my favorites so far in that iceberg series I'm covering. So like Mothman, the Flatwoods Monster, stuff like that. There's a lot of fun ones like the Hodag. The Hodag's coming up. That's a fun. There's like a little gremlin that runs around in caves. That's pretty fun.
Well, it's crazy when you see how different cultures build out these creatures and then what they gravitate towards.
That's what I like about them so much. There's very few that exist in isolation of anything. Like you can take any like legend, like vampires, for example, right? It's like vampires, yeah, we all know, but the actual legend of those draws back from like old Middle Eastern beliefs around things that can remove the soul from someone else to gain its power. It also ties into early cults that would perform blood sacrifices, things like that. And then that mixes in with stories of counts who live in manors. And it's like, yeah, the legend of the vampire exists, but it is the end point of so many different stories and ideas that created this one mythos. And that's what's really interesting to talk about with cryptids. Yeah, that's what I said.
God, what a...
That's it. You're like, why are you just warping every word I take, Brent? You are a true politician.
I was about to say, vote early, vote often, or some shit.
It's almost like I've been to D.C. I've been in the tunnels under the Capitol. So vampires are real, right?
What did I say in this podcast that you're like at Target?
It was almost like B tier 4 years ago.
I see what's happened.
What's no
Fair,
different,
okay.
like Krampus? Like Krampus Claus is a terrifying figure.
Krampus Claus?
Or Krampus.
Krampus, yeah.
Krampus Claus over here. But it's a terrifying figure when you actually read the lore behind it. You're like, man, that just... And they would say that to children. It's like, this dude's going to fucking murder you pretty much.
Dude, German fairy tales.
It's relatable,
are fucking
though.
Wild.
I brought my kids to the airport. They're 1 and 2. Let me tell you.
Where's this going?
I would like
gone.
I would like a
Krampus
double-blind scientific study on the exact amount of decibels you're allowed to raise your voice in public, where your kids get the message that you're serious, but also strangers aren't going to look. That's what I want to know.
It's different from you.
What did that have to do with Krampus? Are you like,
Children for presents.
we're talking about killing kids, and you're like, I need to yell at them.
I mean, whatever.
My
Kids
children
deserve
are
punishment.
gone
I think
now.
that's what,
Krampus took him.
You threaten them with the Krampus claws, and you know.
And it doesn't.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
My kids are young enough. They can believe in Krampus their whole
She's so
lives.
scared. I'm so sorry.
You're not even on camera. Just nod yes or no.
Krampus was That was a brown thing.
But for children, like where the Mexican community were like, fucking, you go outside, the demon's
Chupacabra.
gonna get, something's gonna kill you. Okay? So you behave or you die. That's how I was raised at least. I was like, Roger, Dad, I don't know why I'm terrified of life, but okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of like fairy tales were made for that specific reasons. Like the Hansel and Gretel, classic ones like that. They were like, sure, culminations of things like witchcraft, paganism, stuff like that. But the effect of the tale was as a cautionary tale for children. Don't stray far from the village or the witch will get you. And there's a lot of legends that kind of tie into that lore.
So tale as old as time.
I knew as soon as you leaned into your mic, I was like, oh wait, was that a nice thing?
Yeah, he was.
Oh,
Shit. I was like, he attacked you. You said something positive. He was like, fuck you, Brandon.
I'm so on edge. I saw you went, I was like,
You're
what?
developing muscle memory. You punch him. Never mind.
You gave him PTSD.
I'm over here like, tale as old as time. Okay, yeah, no, you fuck up, you get taken by the fucking goblin, but whatever.
It's like he's about to fight. He wants to fight. Something's going on.
Do you want to fight? You want to take this outside? I'm gonna fight my fucking son.
It normally takes you a couple more drinks than that.
Those are the best ones.
Daddy's
Not anymore.
He can usually smell dad before pain comes.
Oh, damn, Dad smells weird. It's time to fight.
Nah, fucking. Dad has home field advantage with alcoholism.
You got Wendigoon being like,
He came
what
on this
the-
podcast willingly.
When you guys ain't going, what
You said Dad smells weird. It's
and never coming back. This
my
is the one and only episode.
So it hurts me because you have one of the most infectious laughs.
I know.
In all of YouTube.
It's so beautiful.
As soon as you start laughing, I can't stop.
I hate you so much.
I love you too, son.
He's gonna pray tonight. He's like, I sinned today, Dad. So many times. He's gonna lead it right now. I wanted to kill a man. I haven't felt this in a long time.
Right. Yeah.
So anyways, my favorite slur is...
This is karma for what I don't know, but this is karma somehow.
Bro, I have to have deserved this somehow.
I did or will deserve this. Yeah, absolutely.
What do you
Was there a thought going or something?
No, it's gone now. It was leading somewhere good.
I'm over here just thinking, like, I
Last
hate
thing
the
I
fact that my
remember-
parents watch this podcast.
Last thing I remember is
You think I'm thinking right now?
Your parents are in a live studio audience.
It's like I'm trying not to slur right now. They're right there.
I don't want my dad to know I can fly. Guys, I'm sorry.
You know, sometimes you have to remember these are the best times.
One of my favorite episodes of all time.
Brandon, best job I ever had.
Best job I ever had, man.
Okay, so
I was trying to go towards more just the history on the cryptids.
the cryptids and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
derailed
Anyways,
to
back
this.
to vampires and breadcrumbs and shit.
Yeah, that's what it was. Thank you. Yeah. But basically, there's a lot of stories. Any story at the end of the day, any folktale, any legend is an echo of like the cultures that came before it, the things that led up to it. So like tales in the modern age. It's one of the reasons I love the Wendigo so much because it's a combination of all these different lores and beliefs that have been passed down for centuries. But there's so many stories that operate that way. That's kind of like the nexus point between a lot of ideas. It's one of the reasons I love like a lot of modern internet horror so much, like the the ARGs of the scary stories I cover, because like you'll see something that'll be scary, effective, or what have you, but the blueprint for it can be traced back to movies that existed, and then those movies came off of ideas and concepts in the realm of terror, and then books and legends. And it's interesting to see how culture creates new content with these new blends of stuff that's been done. It's fascinating to look at a story from kind of a historic perspective.
Well, yeah, because it's hard before the age of internet and even television or radio. Even it's like, how do you keep your kids in line? Well, something's gonna fucking eat you if you go into the woods.
Yeah.
And that's what's like the Wendigoon. The Goatman is one of the scary. I don't know why that story. Reading it for the first time, the internet story. I'm sure you've read
The
it.
Anansi Goatman and Anansi Goatman or whatever.
Yeah, when they're like in the trailer and they're like,
Yeah, they're in the the cat noise let me in and all that. Yeah.
And it's one of the most terrifying things. It's the idea of this monster or creature that is when you're with groups of people in the woods, it blends in and becomes part of the community, and no one knows that it's there. So no one is like, oh, it's the extra friend at a party.
It's
like, your editor today, and I was like, who the fuck is that guy? Like you're like, I don't know him, but normally it'd be like, oh, it's Goatman.
It's like a random guy at the bar last night.
Yes,
it's like,
exactly.
Oh, yeah, nobody noticed he like kind of just incorporated himself into the community, but like, oh, he's here.
Which shout out to your editor, one of the most fantastic editors.
AJ, love you.
AJ, you are fucking crushing it, AJ. But that's what that Goatman story is. It's like, hey, they just have to adapt to a human. They are a creature, but they just adapt to fit in, and it is terrifying to read.
The Goatman himself is an interesting legend. I mean, we talked about it on the red thread, so I won't belabor all the same points. But like the short version is like the Goatman has pieces of like Old Testament demonology tied into like the first legends of the Goatman started rising like the 50s and 60s, tied into like the Bible Belt culture of the eastern United States, and then it takes elements from a lot of the Native American legends around that, and it's like it's interesting to see Goatman as like this culmination again of all these different ideas. The one thing that's fascinated me, something I've been thinking about when it comes to like stories and horror, is the concept of the mimic, right? So for example, there's a lot of threads that are kind of easy to trace where they come from, right? Like, for example, liminal terror, or like, think of like the Backrooms-esque. The horror is an area that looks familiar, but is completely alien. It feels like it's not supposed to exist, but you've been there before. It's kind of like the stairs in the woods. It's a similar vibe and a different...
Well, that's Mandela. That's Mandela effect. That's a little different.
Yeah, but you got it. Yeah, you got the spirit.
Chick-fil-A's his rep. He's like, those letters.
No, I've been here before, I swear.
Chick-fil-A.
The rib?
How do you spell Chick-fil-A?
No.
Terror. The terror.
I thought you said the rib. I'm like, women terrify you that much?
The rib.
The rib. Ah, you got that. I knew you would.
It's always easier to derail a train when it's got square wheels. Just saying.
But go on.
But yeah. So like you like stuff like that is easy to see because there's a.
Oh, that's just loose.
Could you stop touching your fucking dress?
Okay,
Well, the rattling on the metal, it was fucking. Look, it was loose. I knew it.
Hold on, let me
It
just.
wasn't
sound,
making that
he knew
sound.
that.
I knew, but it wasn't. I knew. Like,
Speaking of
Is that
square
better?
fucking wheels,
I'm so sorry. I hate it. I was like, I just hear metal clicking. I'm like. They just get up and leave this. I'm sorry. It's my.
no more square wheels.
This episode brought to you by autism.
That's all episodes. The unofficial sponsor, actually. Anyways,
Unofficially sponsored by autism.
I mean, if you want to get technical.
Christ.
So
Anyways, you want a beer?
I'm good. I'll
thanks.
thank you though.
I'll respect that limit, but that's the only one.
Okay. So like stuff like that, like liminal horror, or whatever, you can trace to. There was a lot of people, especially like people who are adults now, who have kind of these memories of when they were growing up, of maybe like empty shopping malls or of abandoned bus stations, stuff like that. Stuff where people are supposed to be, but they're not. And it kind of gives an uncanny feeling. So like liminal spaces, you can look at that and you're like, yeah, I see where that comes from. But the one that weirds me out is the mimic. So like in a lot of different horror stories, you hear the concept of mimicry mentioned a lot. Like, oh, it's the Wendigo like the original legends don't have it. The Skinwalker does, and a lot of people meld the two in their mind. But the concept of like it's a creature that kills someone, then can mimic their voice. You've probably heard some horror story where like guy gets killed and his friends are calling out, and they can hear their friend's voice yelling back to them, but it's something sounds weird, sounds out of cadence.
Think of the movie. What was the movie with the bear?
I know exactly what you're
Annihilation.
Yeah.
Annihilation.
Annihilation. Thank you.
Cocaine
Thank
bear.
you. Yeah.
Annihilation is a good representation of that. When
I
you
actually-
hear the scream of a woman, you're like, what is this?
Yeah.
And then this fucking
Annihilation's a
Where's
great
King
movie
Trout?
overall, but I don't know.
King Trout, like, dude, his help me.
Oh God.
We were in the middle of the fucking.
You gotta hear his help me.
It was creepy as shit. We were in the middle of nowhere, like in like when Demo Ranch first bought his property.
And he could do.
Well, yeah, because you're like, if someone says help me in the woods, like don't go towards that. And he did one when we were out there at Demo's place, and we're like, holy shit, that sounds weird.
Because there was a party like fucking 100 yards out from us, 200 yards out. Like we just saw their fire, and they were like all laughing or whatever. And then he started doing his like help me shit, just like super loud as hell, and they all quieted down.
That's pretty good.
They got silent. It was like, oh.
When it's slightly human, that's what makes it terrifying. That's why, like Annihilation, that bear when it's yelling or anything, like it's the girl screaming, like, and then it walks in, and you're like, oh, what the fuck is
Do
this
your help
thing?
me.
Remember when we were at Demo's place? You were just help me.
Oh, you guys told that story?
Yeah,
Yeah.
do it.
Go for it.
Help me.
Oh, that was it that?
Yeah.
I wasn't there.
Sorry,
I
smoked
was
18
1/3 of
packs.
the way through a cigarette when I was so rudely interrupted.
he was outside just like,
I was busy.
I'm gonna take a bathroom break while he's.
go.
Yeah, have fun listening to that on the mic.
Yeah, you can keep it on. I don't know what you want to do. You can take it off if you want.
I don't care.
No, leave it. I want to
just
hear
make
it.
I've had worse.
Do I make people
Tune into
like
Patreon
uncomfortable
to hear Wendigoon's
professionally? or
piss.
what?
Dude, G-Van's like, he pisses so hard.
Show. Tell
I
him
do remember.
Guinness
I don't
is
remember
good.
the voice. I remember we were out at the ranch, and we were standing there, and we heard nightmarish noises coming from the wilderness. And Cody's son,
So we heard the Texas goat man.
yes, turned to a I forgot the very important part of the story when we heard what was completely indescribable. Cody's son turns to us and goes, "What was that?" And we all went, it was probably some animal or something, and then looked at each other and went, horrifying.
I kind of forgot that happened.
Did you kill Eli while I was in there?
He fell bravely. That's fine. Yeah.
I just came on and derailed everything.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No, he was
Danny
giving
was-
where
his
the fuck
his
did you get a
cryptid
bush
impression,
light?
but, you know.
There's a whole case.
Did he get the impression out? Did he do it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Gotcha.
I've been trying to.
He did
I
talk
have
about
one?
the time that we all heard a cryptid, though.
Oh,
He
interesting.
was talking about that, and we, he didn't.
No, I'm sorry to disappoint you, Dad.
I was going to ask you, though. Have you heard about the CIA operation where they try to convince people that vampires were real?
Made a video on it.
Did you really?
did.
God damn it, I'm an asshole.
I remember
Sorry,
that
I haven't seen
because
all your videos.
Yeah.
I've been trying to keep up on
You
the
know
new
what?
ones.
After that, we're going this way.
Back to B plus.
a little bit of lore. I listened to that video. This is one of those weird moments where you like just remember what you were doing at the time. The day I made that fucking testimony before Congress about the ATF, I woke up and I took a shower and I watched that video.
Wow.
Yeah, your whole like CIA.
Yeah. And remember,
vampire thing.
kids, the next time that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool. That's
I
awesome. man.
remember that. I was in Destin, Florida. It was just weird as
You
shit.
borderline testified before Congress.
You know what, man? A tier. Just for that.
Listen here, motherfucker! You call me B tier again, you're not a real fan.
That was called sympathy.
Oh, no.
You got sympathy
What-
upgraded.
Oh, wait.
Go.
So don't wanna
Are
bother
you
you.
gonna go get more? More on the cryptid.
I never thought I'd
Oh, I
see
thought-
Brandon Herrera do that a 57th time.
Oh, wow, original.
Everyone shit on Brandon now.
Brandon, I've been right here. What are you talking about? He has been targeting me the whole show.
No.
He
We're
gets
not
it.
targeting you. You're just
started
part
it,
of the friend group now.
Yeah,
This is how we all feel.
What was I talking about before I went to the bathroom?
The cryptic and
The mimic.
the mimic.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
The mimic.
I had a point to make with that, right? So, like, a lot of horror stories, you could trace where it came from, and you could be like, this came from that. Makes sense, right? The mimic's an interesting one to me because there are stories of mimicry that date all the way back to, like, ancient cultures. Right.
In various parts of the world.
In various
where it's
parts of the world,
you guys
too.
didn't talk to each other back then. So
Exactly.
That's kind of weird.
Exactly. Like there were legends of creatures that would like appear as man in like various South American cultures. There are Middle Eastern cultures that would have legends of like things that make the voice of a human to lure you away, and it's like, what was the inception of that? Right? Like there's an origin point for all these different stories. Why was that so? Go ahead. Whatever.
I know. I'm watching these two rub beards looking at each other like,
He's fucking calling me out over here.
You don't need this. Like, what was the original inception point for those stories, right? Like, what is it that what was the thing that we're supposed to be afraid of, right? Because, like, with liminal spaces and stuff, the thing that we're afraid of is, like, the desolation, the lack of people. If, like, cities are abandoned, something's gone wrong. If we're afraid of, like, zombies are a good example. If we're afraid of people diseased and sickly and violent, something's gone wrong. So, what was the thing that went wrong that led to mimicry becoming such a thing across all these different tribes?
Dude, that's just liminal, like, or however you say it. It is very amazing that you say it like that because it is terrifying when everything's just, nothing's there, everything's the same, but there's no escape for it.
Yeah,
There is
yeah.
an unending maze, and you're like, something fucked up, and I do not like this. And I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
Real question. Isn't that the uncanny valley? Like
It is, yeah.
Okay.
So the uncanny
that's
valley
what mimic
is typically, like when you hear it in application, it's referring to like appearance,
Mimicry, yeah.
like visual appearance, but it would also apply to voices, stuff like that. An uncanny voice, stuff
But
like
that's
that.
like generally speaking, in theory, that's why people are scared of like a dummy or a
Yeah,
doll or whatever,
yeah.
because it's like a human, but it's not.
Yeah.
okay.
There's this thing that keeps coming back to me. Maybe I'll make a video on it one day. I just need to like hone my thoughts in about it a bit more. But there's this thing that I keep thinking about when it comes to horror, cultures, legends, all that stuff, that across our history, there seems to be like a monster in the closet, right? Like whatever the group of people were, wherever they are, they share these characteristics. There is always, for example, psychedelics, right? People who like take extreme psychedelics like DMT, they'll start to describe seeing the same creatures over and over. They'll start to describe having the same experiences, hearing
like
the
the
same
Hat
voices. Yeah, similar to the Hat Man, stuff like that, right? All these different cultures have voices, like stories of a voice or a thing. So, like the things that go bump in the night, everywhere they were, for some reason it sounds like they were talking about the same things. So what has this thing been that we keep tapping on the glass of? That it's shielded from us, but we keep getting closer. We keep putting our hands up against it.
Do you know what the Hat Man is?
Yeah, but the way you just explained that is absolutely fucking terrifying. Where it's like, we all know it. We're tapping the glass. What is?
Yeah, and
because we all see it briefly. It's like it's out through dreams or whatever. Everyone has seen the same image of the same man, and you're like, oh yeah, this is normal.
And here's the thing, right? Like, so sure, there's been a glass wall. There's been some kind of barrier protection. We see glimpses of it, but we've never lived with it, right? But then, like, there's all these new studies into dream theory, stuff like that. Scientists estimate in the next couple decades we can control dreams. We can effectively program what we see when we sleep. There's stories with AIs that we can create AI that's able to basically use all the information it has to create new theories, new ideas, stuff like that. So that it can pull things out of an aether that we used to have to work for, but now we don't have to work for. And it can produce new images, new monsters, things that have not existed until it consumes them. So we keep tapping on the glass, what happens when it breaks, effectively? What happens when we do step too far? I find myself thinking about that, like what if we find the monster in the closet? Yeah.
That's horrible to think about. But
Yeah. I'm glad I could take the mood down.
But it's such a good question because everyone, as you're saying, has their own monster in the closet, and a lot. What's the craziest thing is, a lot of our monsters look exactly the same without ever communicating about it.
Yeah,
The same
yeah.
Well, it's like Nick said he doesn't know what the Hat Man is. That's Benadryl, right?
Yeah, the Benadryl Hat Man.
Yeah,
like,
tell me
yeah,
about
like-
this, please.
So if people
I have no idea
chug
what
a
you're
bunch of
talking about.
fucking Benadryl, right?
Well, we
they
would
s-
never condone that on this podcast because that's
Yeah.
for
Well, it
degeneration.
ruins your liver and kidneys, and you're gonna be destroyed for life.
You'll
But some
also
people
have
do
a
it.
tiny cock, but other than that, yeah.
Halfway there. I don't even need to buy Benadryl.
That was funny. That was good.
I don't even
There's
need
no targets.
Benadryl.
There's no like.
I don't even know if it was a joke.
For the fourth time today, I've looked to the left and seen the disapproving look of your wife.
Join the club. Every time I'm
Held
naked.
up her pinky.
That's what's up.
That's on
You're not
a
gonna
good
scare
day.
me.
Jesus fucking Christ.
But that's what's amazing about like human psychology. It is everyone can have a reference of close to the same image or nightmare.
Yeah.
And then you can reach across the pond and somebody you have no reference or no connection with, they're like, yeah, I seen the same fucking
Yeah,
thing, where they'll
yeah.
draw it out and it's very close imagery. And you're like, what the fuck?
So like the way I tie back, because I'm religious, because I'm a Christian, I think about it in connection with religion, stuff like that, right? Like like Old Testament before, time of faith with all that, when we existed in the time of law, by my beliefs, like in the Old Testament, things were much more literal on earth. It wasn't the Holy Spirit dwelling with man. It wasn't like the unseen realm. It was the seen realm. Rather than, demons and angels interacting invisibly on earth, they were physical. They appeared before man. They spoke to them, stuff like that. Like a lot of Christians overlook the fact that, yeah, Moses could perform miracles from God, but Pharaoh's sorcerers also performed miracles. They also had ways to perform magic and things like that. Where did they get that from? And it makes me think a lot of questions to myself, like, is there a collective memory we're forgetting that maybe demons, if they existed, contacted us at one point? Maybe they lived with us. Maybe there was something like man, something that was a bit adjacent to them that existed, like perhaps the Nephilim is mentioned in the Bible or something like that, something that no longer exists. We are all afraid of something we've forgotten, and it keeps popping up in our stories. And I think about that a lot. It's like the ghost of a story.
Could you say giants?
Like giants, yes, exactly like
in the
giants.
fucking Afghani caves and shit. I think Eli, you were telling
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
about
the
that.
Kandar, right? Is that?
Well,
Yeah,
it's all these little things,
Kandahar.
especially biblically.
Kandahar.
You have that to the angels through all these things where it's like, I sent that meme I think to the group where it's like, maybe not. It's an angel appearing like a real, like a biblical angel, and it's like
The Ophanim, the eyes and the wings.
but
yeah.
it's a meme, so it's like I'm an angel, blah blah blah. Before
Be
you.
not afraid.
Yeah.
And it's the
You are
dude's reaction.
you're the fucking most terrifying thing I've ever
it's like,
seen in my life.
Hey, bro, I'm kind of drunk. You terrified as fuck. What's up, angel? So it's like those opposite, because biblically angels aren't like this. Like, hey, we hot as shit. That'd be more on the side of Lucifer, where it's like, hey,
It's interesting. So like the angels, there's different types of angels. I've talked about this in videos before, but like there's different types of angels as explained in the Bible, but we're never given clarification as to like, is this different forms angels can take, or do they always exist as this one kind of thing? Who knows, right? But there
is
are
the
different
interesting
forms they
part
take.
of it.
And the way I see it is that God always knew what was needed for the scenario. When an angel comes to speak to Gideon to tell him he needs to lead an army, he comes to this young boy as a man, appearing as a human, telling him several times in the Bible, they have to tell people they're angels. They appear and they say, oh, I'm an angel, because it's not readily apparent. They appear as the form of a man. So sometimes it's that, and sometimes
Other times you get the be not afraid.
sometimes, like in the book of Ezekiel, when he has the visions as he describes wheels upon wheels of fire with eyes, and the noise they made sounded as thunder and rumbling mountains. Sometimes it's like that. Whatever the scenario is needed is what appears. So is this the forms angels can take? Are these different kind? Who knows? But what's fascinating about that...
well, it's also, you're like, hey, Jesus, what's up? I'm just trying to talk to you. Hey, what the fuck? What? And they're like, hey, yo, calm down, bro. I'm just an angel, just floating here. Got my angel wings, got my eyes.
I can't remember.
Chilling out.
I can't remember what it was. It might have been
No, that got
supernatural.
you. That got
It might have been supernatural or something, but it was like there's a reason. The first thing we ever say is "be not afraid."
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're fucking terrifying.
Why'd you sound like Castile when you said that?
Dean, I found a liquor store and I drank it.
Go home.
I don't believe the babysitter loves the pizza man.
I'm trying to hear like a Wendigoon episode. Like, what's fascinating about that? I'm getting a live episode right now. It's
Cody's like,
amazing.
shut up.
I'm interested in this.
Why does the pizza man love the
What's
babysitter?
fascinated? Can we unplug this guy?
Am I back down to B tier?
Yeah. He
you're
grabbed
lucky.
you.
Yeah.
His mouse clicker's like, C.
What's fascinating about that, Cody, is that in the Bible, so it's like God always knew the tool that was needed for the job, right? Sometimes a show of power, sometimes a show of love, stuff like that, right? Sometimes somewhere in between, like the heavenly host, like a series of angels singing angelic, both powerful but comforting, stuff like that, right? What's fascinating about that is if the angels can take on these forms, if they have these, and if the way that Lucifer exists is he decided to rival God and was cast out of hell, and it says a third of the angels fell with him, then what do they look like? What forms can they take on? They're no longer connected to the divinity of God. They no longer have unlimited dominion, as described by the prophets, but they do have some power. Like I said, Pharaoh's sorcerers could perform miracles, and they got those abilities from somewhere. So what does this bastardized, broken piece of divinity look like when it wants to put power over people? Could sometimes they appear as people? Yeah. Could sometimes they appear as something a little less or a little different than people? Yeah. And in my mind, that's...
Well, they were jealous of They were jealous of us, like
Yes, yeah.
mortality as a whole. And were they jealous of our
Well,
look?
Was
or
it
how
demons
you
or
would-
was it like was it Satan himself was jealous of humanity?
Well, so to finish that thought real quick, I like maybe a lot of these stories we have, like I said, the monster in the closet, maybe a lot of that comes from them, what they used to look like, what they used to behave. Now, the thing around like the jealousy of the devil and stuff like that, a lot of that isn't expressly biblical. A lot of that comes from scholars' beliefs that came afterwards. The Catholic Church has its own like iconography and lore based around like the early saints and the early popes and stuff like that. But I'm not Catholic and I don't really subscribe to a lot of their beliefs. Sure, some of the stuff they said I think was wise, but as, on a whole, I've got a lot of issues with it, which, duh. But I've expressed it before on the channel. Not a big fan of the.
I love
the
how you
Office or
like
whatever.
so casually throw out a sentence that like would have gotten you fucking burned at the stake.
Oh, I would have been executed like 500 years ago. Yeah, easily.
He's
For
a
several
witch.
Drowned
Drowned him.
Yeah.
If he floats, he's a knot.
Wow, do you remember how Joan of Arc ended up? That was super cool.
Pretty much.
She was human.
Oops. Yeah. If they're dead, they're cool. Yeah, that's how it went most of the time. But a lot of it comes from like not expressly Catholic, but people had stories after. So a lot of our modern characterization of Lucifer comes from a lot of paganism that a lot of the time wasn't like expressly satanic, but in our hindsight, we've kind of ascribed it to be. Figures like Baphomet, for example, aren't expressly religious or satanic, but because it's like the image of the goat's head or whatnot and sacrifice, people like tie the two together in their memory.
Lucifer, how many times was Lucifer mentioned in the Bible? His name, how many times?
I think
was
it's
the
just
name?
once. Yeah. Lucifer the
One time.
It's describing him as Lucifer the morning star.
Yeah,
Because he
only
was
one
described
time.
as the most beautiful in all of heaven. Yeah.
Most
yeah.
people don't even know that. It is one time Lucifer's name was
Yeah,
said in
yeah,
the
actually-
entirety of
Isn't
the
like
Bible.
isn't Baphomet like barely biblical? Like, is that like
Actually not biblical. So like
yeah.
if I recall there's
Humans are weird. We're like, "What, have you ever heard of fucking demon goat Satan?
Yeah.
That one was definitely
now that
mentioned,
being
like,
said, there is a lot of demons mentioned by name
References.
in the Bible. There's like, well, again, I'm kind of ascribing the belief a lot of these lesser gods or false gods were demons in effect. So with that in mind, there's Baal, there's Dagon, there's Moloch, stuff like that, which there's debate around if Moloch actually was real or not, but that's a whole nother topic.
God, I could listen to you.
I know. I was thinking the same thing.
I'm
It's like keep going.
I'm almost there.
No, he's gonna talk.
And
Here,
drop
back,
it to
this
you.
is back to
Thank
you.
you, thanks, appreciate it. Yeah, C tier. Anyways,
Good old yes
I
tier.
moved my way up, man. Damn.
I'll keep adding letters. We'll keep going.
You'll be Z tier.
I'll make some up after that. Yeah.
All right, so G tier Brandon.
So, like, with a lot of these stories around like demonology and whatnot, a lot of it's subscribed by stuff that came after. So, like, people ascribed a lot of paganism to demonology. Like, one of the reasons Lucifer specifically is depicted as like or I guess I shouldn't say Lucifer, the devil is depicted as he is because of a lot of the stories around paganism and whatnot. So, like, as the devil is described in the Bible, which, for one, by the way, he's never called the devil in the Bible. And the word demon is never used in the Bible. Demon's a Greek word. It came afterwards. It describes the fallen angels, which is what they're called. The word demons came later, comes off the word demos or all that. And Lucifer is described as Satan, which means the opponent. He's described as Lucifer. He's described as the accursed one, stuff like that. But he's never, like, the word for demons is devils or spirits or stuff like that, stuff along those lines. So the reason that now we see the devil as like the figure with like goat hooves and horns and all that stuff, it comes from a lot of paganism. Like, there was a lot of early church beliefs, specifically Catholic like beliefs within the church, when they saw pagans worshiping like figures of Baphomet or making idols to him, they ascribed it to demonology, and kind of the two kind of started to twist together or meld together.
That a lot. And that's not even for the bad stuff. It is for the positive stuff. The Yule log, anything like that.
Yeah.
Like the burning, Christmas, things like that. It was from paganism, and they adopted those for a more natural progression for, hey, we are adopting Christianity. We are adopting Catholicism. Hey, how do we do that? This is the easiest way.
Yeah.
Using what they're already known, or what these people or these little areas are known for. We're going to adapt that into our own ideologies and then let that flourish.
Yeah. There's a lot of combination, melding, stuff like that. It wasn't always like expressly evil. As a matter of fact, most of it wasn't even intentional. It was just like the figureheads that were seen. And like I explained earlier, with a lot of the Old Testament imagery being of, if these false gods could be considered demons, which, considering a lot of them involve child sacrifice, I'm kind of cool with saying yeah, probably. So, like, you have these false gods.
It was widely regarded as a bad move.
Like, you have all these false gods that can perform miracles and demand like blood sacrifices, so people assume those to be demons. Those took on the form of animal. Dagon was a sort of fish. Baal was a sort of ox. So, in a way, it's almost kind of serendipitous that the eventual symbol of the devil was that of like the goat's head, with the horns and stuff like that. It's kind of like history correcting itself down the line years later. But a lot of our descriptions of like what you said, like he was jealous, he wanted that comes from a lot of early members of the church and stories they told. So for the big one, the one that's had the biggest impact on the devil in modern cult, other than like paganism making the goat head imagery and all that, other than that, one of the biggest symbols that changed how we view Lucifer was Paradise Lost, which was written by John Milton, which I made a whole video going into that spiel or whatever. But Milton's theory...
GVAN here, right over Brandon's face. Over G tier. Oh, fuck you.
Damn.
We skipped a lot there.
Brings me into one of my biggest questions. What is the difference between like the Bible Lucifer, Bible devil, versus what people picture the devil to be now?
So, in the Bible, the devil...
Well, you know, you think of the devil and you know, but like between like what the Bible actually says and what
biblically versus actual.
So in the Bible, when the devil is mentioned, when he's discussed, it is the opponent, right? Which is the best way to describe it. One of the verses, I believe it was Paul, who described him as the prince of the air, talking about that he has dominion over this world. This world is sin tainted, and therefore he has control over it, which is the reason we experience death, problems, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Sin.
Yeah. World not perfect all the time. You get that. So the devil is responsible for those things in that he introduced sin to the world, but it was our choice to partake in sin. It was not forced upon us. We accepted it. By free will, we chose to bite of the apple. We chose to enact our free will in both good and bad ways. So the devil's objective in the world is not to be a scary face you see in the dark at night. It's not to be a predator that gets you killed as quick as he can, to just like slaughtering people or whatnot. Is that an end effect of it? Sure. But really, the devil's objective is to just turn you away from God. Now, is the better way of doing that being evil, being awful, or is it giving people what they need outside of him? So a lot of times, as it's shown in the Old Testament and New Testament, the devil isn't someone who just slaughters, kills randomly. He gives riches. You get, like I mentioned, Pharaoh, a rich man who has all this magic, all these powers that was given to his sorcerers and whatnot. He gives them exactly what they need, because as long as they don't need God, then he's won. That's what he has. The devil knows how the book ends. He knows the prophecies. He knows that, according to scriptures, that one day he'll be defeated by the archangel Michael. Sin will be no more. It will all be over.
So then why fight?
Because he can take as many people with him as he can in that amount of time.
Nick,
he knows it's a losing battle, but he can make other people lose as well.
Communism, Nick. That's the new age. It's taking a new form too.
Why are you're trying to upset me right now?
Exactly. I wanted to get you heated so that it's relatable. Because it's taking a new form. It's the exact same thing. It's like, how do I...
I'm mad.
Pull as many people as
I'm
possible.
mad at how much sense that made. Actually, I'm upset.
So what basically, like, the modern depiction of the devil is as, like, I mean, you could call it a cryptid almost, right? Something violent, something that wants to kill you, run your car off the road, stuff like that.
Title of the episode.
Devil's a cryptid.
There you are, standing in a bread line.
Ooh. You live in a country that doesn't like vowels.
They got like 7 layers deeper than it needed to.
Poland, Hungary. Oh.
Jesus Christ.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Look what you've done, Eli. You've derailed everything. Yeah, we finally got back on track.
Okay, back on track.
No, I was learning. You fucked it up. Now we're here.
I was at the end of that tangent anyway. Basically, the main difference is that the devil's goal is not to be evil. It's that to be a provider, just one that is away from God, something to point you in a different direction. The Antichrist, for example, as mentioned in Revelation, is not a figure. I mean, by cause and effect he is, but he's not a figure that directly brings death or chaos into the world. It says in the end times, he's the one who unites the world. He's a leader that the people love and will do whatever he says. He's not expressly evil. He's just a different direction than that of returning to the Creator, than that of salvation. Because ultimately, like if you look across the entire Bible, really the whole of Christianity, the point is that we were made to be companions with God. In the Garden of Eden, God walked and talked with us every day. We were his friends. He wanted us, he gave us free will because to have that companionship, to have that closeness, and we chose to separate ourselves from that. So then rather than being cast out from other, rather than God smiting us and starting over, he says, all right, you get a second chance. You have this life, you can do whatever you want with it, and throughout your life, you can choose to turn away from me or turn back towards me. And if at the end of your life you've chosen to turn back towards me, then we'll be together again. The reunion of the spirit, the reunion in the air. It's in that way, death to a Christian is not like something to be feared. Of course, it's something to mourn. We miss loved ones, but in actuality, it's a return to what we were meant for. That's the beauty of it. So all Satan can do is make sure that doesn't happen, to point us back the other direction. So that's effectively his goal in this life. He knows how the story ends. He can just have a say in where we end up in that. Or really, he can give us the tools to give us the say. We still have the free will of choosing which way we go, either that be with God or with the opponent, so to speak.
God. Gosh darn.
Man, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
I got you, bro. I was like, wait, hold on, Eli. Stop. And I was like, Jesus, no. Pull that one back. Gosh darn.
Cody, would you like to wholesomely lead us out of this podcast? I'd like to go to heaven.
Dude, it's so well spoken. I don't know how to stop that. You just close this out, Cody. It's so beautifully said.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining the Unsubscribed podcast today. I'm joined, of course, by Eli Doublefat, Brandon Herrera, Mr. Wendigoon, who's an amazing guest, and the Fat Electrician. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you all for watching. It means the world. Thank you.
We'll see you sexy YouTube mother lovers in the next podcast.
Quack bang out, but for real, has his fucking mic been off the whole time?
I already seen it.
Oh no.
When did it go? What?
Oh God.